What's going on? Good morning. 6:01 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans' 53-man roster initially is set, but more importantly, they got their kicker. Titans traded a 7th-round pick for Nick Folk to the Patriots. Folk hit 32 of 37 kicks last season for the Patriots, including 4 of 5 from 50. Folk had been beaten out by 4th-round pick Chad Ryland. And some initial notes from the Titans' initial 53-man roster. In addition to the entire rookie class making the 53-man roster, that includes 7th-round pick Colton Dow, 6th-round pick Jaden out of Maryland. 5 UDFAs made the roster for the Titans. Kyrus Jackson, Caleb Murphy, Otis Reese, Anthony Kendall, and Matthew Jackson. And some players that were cut that could come back to the Titans after injured reserve moves or end up back on the practice squad. Linebacker Chance Campbell, wide receiver Mason Kinsey, wide receiver Racy McMath, linebacker Ben Neiman, and tight end Thomas Odukoya. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome to your Wednesday morning on RKW. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors as the Tennessee Titans and general manager Ran Carthon have their initial 53-man roster. All the reaction you need right here. Rhett Bryan will stop by at 8 o'clock. We've got your phone calls as well at 615-737-1045 and a special Wednesday edition of You're Not That Guy. Hot and fresh for you. Out of the oven over the next 4 hours with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. Robert Walsh making the show happen. My name is Will Bowling. You can stream us live on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch. Good morning, everyone.
Twitch, please.
Good morning.
I just did it for the heck of it.
Thank you.
I just did it for the heck of it.
You just need a recording of Dawn.
You
just,
do.
like, insert it.
That's even better right there. Let's do a recording of Babsy doing it. It just sticks in my head every time you say, and Twitch. I don't know why. Well,
Okay.
I do, because I listen to us.
Wednesday, August 30th, the penultimate day in the month of August, and one of the most underrated sports months. 2 days away.
One of the most underrated sports.
One of the most underrated months in sports.
You talking about September?
I am talking about September.
Okay. I was about to say, what are we talking about?
August
was
is the worst sports month.
It was
It's the worst
appetizers. We had nothing but appetizers.
Right.
This is what that was.
What's the worst month in sports?
What's the worst appetizer, I guess?
Is July? Because you've got the break for
July.
All-Stars. You got...
July may be the worst month. You're right.
I always loved July growing up because it means no school in
Right.
summer.
But for sports.
That was always my birthday. But then no one was around.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
fair. Either July or August.
And there's no football in July. Not even training camp.
Not even training camp.
Well, the end of it.
Canadian football is up.
So yeah, July.
We've come to a conclusion.
I don't know though. I love the MLB All-Star game, and I know I'm 80 years old saying
No,
that.
I
So
like
I'm gonna
it.
go August because of the MLB All-Star game.
I got to go with July.
And you've got College
I
World
go with
Series in
July.
July.
Was it in July?
God,
I thought
that
it
was in July?
June. Well,
Beginning of July, is it not?
No.
I think end of June?
End of June.
No, I could be wrong.
That's
All
It's
my-
like the very, very, very end of June.
June, yeah. I'm like, all my men are
okay.
blended.
I was about to say.
I
Yeah,
forgot.
June 24th is the last day. So close.
June 24th.
I consider that July.
Nah.
I'm
That's
wrong.
usually
I'm just-
vacation time for
I
me.
was right for
there.
a little bit.
Like, no, June, not that month right there. It's got to be July then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
If we're talking about like sports months that don't really do anything, I would take that one right there. Or March.
No, March Madness, baby.
I know, but like
Yeah,
it's
no,
still
March
the,
is outstanding.
No, but no. Hear me out real quick. March Madness, the Final Four happens in April.
Yeah.
It flows all the way through April.
First
and like
round's
we
more
don't
fun.
get
Yeah, I was
like
gonna
March
say.
Madness. We don't get March Madness till like midway through.
No,
that gap
March Madness
between
is that first.
end of February, like middle of February to like middle of March. is usually not all that to me.
I love you, but no,
Yes.
absolutely not.
My favorite part of the
UMBC
tournament
beat
is
Virginia
the
in the
first
first round. Yeah.
When the first weekend of the time? First week of the
Usually
tournament.
it's always
Third week
spring
on.
breart. It's like March 15th.
Yeah, third week.
It's like
That's what-
smack
that's what
dab
I'm
in the
saying.
middle.
Like middle of February after the Super Bowl.
Doing exactly what I did a minute ago.
I did. Middle of February to middle of March. It gets kind of bland right there to me.
Anyway,
Nah.
August is the toughest one for me because you're so close to football, but you're just not quite there. So
My least favorite appetizer is when somebody orders a dip and then they bring out like 8 chips for you to eat with it.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, man? There's 6 people at this table. How are we supposed to share this dip accurately?
That's true.
Dips, in my opinion, are solo adventures. You
Yeah.
should not have to share a dip with someone.
Sure.
They're like, you want to get the avocado spinach dip? I would. I would like to get one for me. I don't want to share with y'all because y'all be double dipping. I'd be sticking my whole fingers in a dip.
worst appetizers, anything with mushrooms.
Ooh, I don't know. I love fried
Some
mushrooms.
kind of like stuffed mushroom.
Stuffed mushrooms.
I'd
get
eat the hell
kinda
out of that.
squishy
Okay.
on you. They get kind of squishy on you.
Yeah.
I
Fried,
think
man.
you know where mine is. I also pretzels. Terrible.
Yeah.
Don't bring out
See,
any of
that's-
those beer cheese pretzels. I don't want it.
You and I are on opposite ends
If
of that
they're
one.
not stale, I'm in.
Okay, I'm in on pretzels. I think the worst appetizer is probably fried tempura vegetables.
Ooh.
Oh, I like those.
No.
I've like recently come around on those.
Just give me
Why
the
are
vegetables.
we
if anything.
ruining those? Absolutely not. Don't tempura my broccoli and cauliflower and just don't do that. Zucchini, don't do that.
I'm
man.
temporally upset at you for having such a terrible take.
Temporally.
That's not a
Bert,
terrible.
be better.
Dylan in the F&M Bank chat says beer cheese pretzels at Calhoun's are great. Absolutely.
Oh.
Says the owner of Calhoun's. Get
No,
out of the
no.
chat, buddy. You got a
Honestly,
restaurant to run.
We
Might as
have
well
a-
be my burner account.
We also have a lot of push-ups. Push-ups.
I was getting there. I was getting there.
You need some of this energy drink.
I
this
waited
morning?
to say no. Of course not. You kidding me? I wake up on 10 every day. I've got I saved my upper body for today. You know.
Oh, baby.
All right. So how you were the person that's in charge of this? How are we doing this? It's not going to be live streamed on Zone TV for those asking.
We'll
We do.
take flicks.
We do not have the facilities for that.
There will be counts
Like literally,
of it.
even if we wanted to.
How many breaks do we have in this show throughout the duration of it?
3.5.
Oh, you wanna
wanna-
spread
you wanna
this out?
spread it out? I mean, I don't want you to burn out on this. I want these to be good push-ups, Will. That's all I'm
I told
asking.
you, nose touching the ground.
No. You even threw that in there. I was
Of
willing
course
to
I did.
forget it. I was willing to forget it, Will, because my elbow, had I lost, it's not going to allow me to hit the nose, okay, on the ground, Kayla. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
because it's kind of
It's
messed
just
up.
from punching people
Yeah.
all my life. You feel me, Kayla? Look, just bow right
Yeah.
there in the face. Bow right there in the face is all I was doing, Kayla. Bow right there in the face.
Okay, we
don't
get
save
it.
that, Bert.
We get it.
Please don't save that. But yeah, I wouldn't have been able to hit my nose on the ground. I'm just telling you. That's why I'm going to kill him. Okay, just got to throw that out
There you
there.
go.
Free plug
Smart.
right
There
there. But yes, let's do them in the break. What do you want to
So
do?
then
10,
we
10,
record
10,
them?
5?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you're recording them.
Oh, yeah.
Let me get a couple images. Where's Rich at?
He not up yet.
Wait,
Let me
wait
just
for about
make
8
sure
o'clock.
you know that.
8 or 9 o'clock.
He not up
Right
yet.
when the show ends and all the food gets here.
Right.
We don't get food in the morning, Will.
That's what
Why
I'm
would
saying.
you
Right
say
when
that?
the show ends and
Yeah.
all the food gets here is when most of the staff comes to the
Speaking
station.
of which, Bert, did you come back for a sandwich?
I did not.
Oh.
I actually stayed here until like 12:45, and I couldn't wait anymore. They were setting up, and they smelled great, looked like great burgers, but
How about you?
I was headed home.
What about you, William?
No, I didn't. I had other things going on yesterday.
See, so we didn't reap any of the benefits.
We
As
didn't
in a
reap
nap.
any of the friggin' benefits. I'm over it.
Me too.
We'll get us a food truck. We'll knock it out in 4 segments.
They should
Will.
make breakfast trucks.
4 segments? Okay.
4 segments. Right
That's
before. Yeah. We'll do 10, 10, 10, 10. No, 10, 10, 10, 15.
Were you squirming at all a little bit yesterday that Malik Willis wouldn't make the team?
No. I wasn't.
You were talking about it a little bit on the show that
That's a
maybe
little
you
bit.
were leaning more towards 2 quarterbacks.
I was leaning towards it because there was trade value, I thought, in Malik. But I do think, again, Coach Vrabel being the head coach of this team, understanding players have to grow up sometimes, it's probably been his most saving grace. And the fact that I can't say all of that without saying Malik's worked his butt off this summer.
Yeah, yes.
It looks different in the pocket. He does have that phantom interception. If we're talking about getting better, Will, from last year to this year, I'd give him a 180.
He's gotten better.
Yes.
I don't think he could have gotten worse, but he's gotten better. I still have no more faith that he's going to be a starting quarterback here long term.
Long term.
Which is why I had this take originally. But I will give the guy credit for prolonging his stay in Nashville.
Yeah.
I'm willing to say that.
Yeah, I'm game for that. And also, Josh Dobbs got traded and announced as starter because Kyler Murray
Surprise.
is out. I know. Surprise.
Little twist there.
Big twist there,
for him.
Kayla.
Yeah.
And
Love to see
by the
it.
way, we do not know if he is the starter yet because Jonathan Gannon has not reported whether he or Clayton Tune will start for
Oh.
competitive reasons.
What?
What do you believe, bro?
That's like I promise we're not tanking.
Yeah.
Look, we're not going to announce our starting quarterback for competitive reasons.
Yeah.
We just have logos like Suck for Luck. That's all.
Exactly.
Tank for who? Who is there another?
Tank for the Trojan.
Tua.
Tank for the
Tua,
Tank for
remember?
Tua was another
Well,
one.
I'm saying this time it's tank for the Trojan.
It is.
Tank for the Trojan.
Caleb
He's
Williams.
right down the street. You're 100% correct,
And
man.
I hope that doesn't work out either.
Why not?
the Pac-12
Why don't we want that to work out?
Oh, no, they ain't part of the Pac-12 no more.
Oh,
That's
goodness.
true. That's
Bye.
true. I was.
Bye.
Hey, look, I
I
tried to
like
help
Caleb
you out
Williams.
there.
I don't know.
I like Caleb too.
He's a fun
You like
player
it
to
when he
watch.
paints his fingernails, it says F-U.
Didn't somebody else in Tennessee do that too or something? Got that dog in it.
Got the dog in him. Caleb.
615-737-1045. Dylan in the chat says collapse for Caleb. That's pretty good.
Oh,
I like
that. Was solid.
That's pretty
right
good.
there.
That's better than tank for the Trojan.
Oh, we can't even mention. Never mind. We'll talk about it on air before we bring it
All
up
right, so am
again.
I doing my first 10 in this break?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can do it while I do the commercial break right here. As long as I know
well,
you
who's
did
recording it then?
it.
That's on y'all. I don't
I'll
know.
take a picture. All I need is pictures. I just need evidence.
615-737-1045. Rhett Bryan at 8 o'clock. And coming up next, the full cut list yesterday for the Titans. Who surprised us the most when we come back on RKW?
It's football season, and it's time to switch to Zen Sports, the fastest growing sportsbook in Tennessee, changing the betting bonus game with their cash reward programs. When you sign up for Zen Sports with the referral code, earn a welcome bonus that gives you 5% cash back on your total betting volume for your first 15 days of betting. 5%. Think about that for a second. That's insane. That's cash right back to your pocket. And the other thing about Zen Sports is this. They offer an incredibly easy to navigate mobile app too. You can find the bets that you want to make on the games you want to bet on easy, and they guarantee you won't find an easier way to build your parlays too. So what are you waiting for? Stop wasting your time and money on other sportsbook when you could be earning real cash rewards with Zen Sports. Download today on the App Store or at zensports.com. Your wallet will thank you later. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. You must be 21 years and older and present in Tennessee to bet.
Wednesday morning at RKW, and we're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Watch the show live, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch.
Twitch, please.
We've got Ramon Foster at the Ramon Foster, at Kayla Anderson TV. I am Will Bowling at Will_Bowling. 615-737-1045. What surprised you the most when the Titans announced their cuts yesterday and Ran Carthon picked his first 53-man roster as the general manager of the Tennessee Titans? Guys, if you're picking one player who you expected to make it, who most surprised you was not on the roster, who would that be?
Who would that be? It's two. The most surprising, though, is Jaleel Johnson.
That did not make it?
That did not make it.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yes. I
Not
thought
who I
he had
expected.
I thought he had a real good camp. I thought he was capable of being a rotation guy for this
Okay.
team. I felt like they were high on him from what I saw and some other stuff that I was hearing about him, specifically him being able to have an experienced role with this team as far as what he was capable of providing for him. Size was there, ability was there, and I did not see him getting cut.
I would probably say the rookie, Eric Garror, because I think we saw so much out of him in terms of consistency through camp. He showed up in terms of preseason games, and he is a special teamer. And at times they were using him as potentially, a punt returner. He could
Yep.
be in somebody that you could utilize in that position. So I was surprised with that. And I was also surprised with the inside linebacker, Chance Campbell, who was a draft pick a couple years ago. I thought he had a good camp, ran with the twos a lot. But then you look at some of the other guys that they kept, and I think it was just one of those things you had to count numbers, and he was the outsider.
And the other thing about Jaleel, most veterans don't make it to the – well, this is a different era. Come on, old dude. Come on, it's not your way of operating anymore. Most veterans usually get released, though, soon enough to where they can get another opportunity to go find a team. He played well, I thought, in Minnesota. I looked at him, and he started in this league. What is his starting and games? Total games for him is 74 games, and he started 21.
Right.
In 2020, he started 16 of 16 games for Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I just figured he would be a lock for this team. So that's my spill. Eric Garror is another one, too.
Garror was mine, followed by tight end Thomas Odukoya,
Yeah.
who is a great candidate to bring back in the practice squad because he won't count against the practice squad as a graduate of the international program in the NFL. So he's a no-brainer to stick around. He would also be a no-brainer, I would imagine, for other teams to try to grab for their practice squads. I think in terms of the roster construction itself, we told ourselves we'd believe it when we saw it on a number of quirks that the Titans have had when it comes to roster building. 3 quarterbacks, that's the big one, obviously. 7 wide receivers versus 3 tight ends. Typically, that's the opposite. You've got 4 tight ends or even 5 tight ends and 5 or 6 wide receivers. And then the additional outside linebacker. I thought was interesting as well with Caleb Murphy. And that's not something that surprised any of us, but it is, again, something we said we'll believe it when we see it, even though we expected Caleb Murphy to make the roster. But I thought Eric Garror is the pick for me because, again, of the punt return ability. And Kearis Jackson's inclusion on the roster essentially fills that spot as well, I would imagine, until Kyle Phillips is back again.
Right.
What I wonder now is there a corresponding move that now has to happen with Kyle Phillips being moved to IR and another change happening? Like, are you going to have Kyle Phillips within the first 4 weeks of the season? Titans, the initial, decision says that they think that's possible. And it might not be worth using one of your 8 designations to bring him back off IR in week 5. But you could have easily kept him on the PUP list and not had to use one of those either. So the Titans in these moves say that Kyle Phillips is probably back by week 4, which, Kayla, surprises me a little bit based on just his overall demeanor and talking to the media the other day.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed like, first of all, when you're in the locker room, you're exposing yourself to the media at all costs. So a lot of those guys that are not, close to coming back or just don't want to talk about injuries, they're not going to be in there.
Yeah.
And he was in there, and he was sitting right by Traylon, and obviously people talked to both of them. But the thing that I'm very cautious with Kyle Phillips is with the injuries in the past. I think it's really important specifically for him not to come back too soon in any situation, because it's not going to make any sense if you come back now and that's not 100%, because we've seen that Kyle is, I'm not going to call him any name of some sort in terms of the body, but there's some issues there, right?
There's always something. That's essentially what
issues.
you're saying. Yeah.
So make sure you're 100% back. So really, Will, my whole thing is when I saw him make the initial roster, clearly because he needed to be on it, right? I feel like they could still put him back on IR, where they're going to give him some time to
Kyle
heal.
Phillips?
Yeah.
There's no reason to, though, unless, because the pup list works as the same thing
So
at the beginning of the season.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way he's not coming back more.
I'm not saying there's no way. I'm saying it would make more sense to put him on the pup list, and then you're gone for the first 4 weeks as well, but you don't have to use one of your 8 returns from IR in the middle of the season, because those are limited.
So put him on the pup now.
As a qualification, I don't think you can be put on the pup list if you've practiced once. If you haven't practiced, you can be put on the pup list. If you've practiced more than once, you cannot be put on.
Oh, that would make sense.
Well, then I guess if they wanted to keep him working and not bring him back soon, it would be then the IR, right? It'd be 4 weeks.
The thing about that, though, to me, as far as Kyle Phillips goes, the leash is short. And it's gotten shorter from last year to this year. The talent is there, and I think he showed us all that he's capable of doing a lot for this team, but you got to be there. You know how many times we've seen this happen? The reason Trey Lance is out of San Francisco is why, y'all? Because he can't stay available. Exactly. He cannot not be injured. And sometimes that's the way the dice roll. You can't control that sometimes. But in this business, you can't lie your head down at night and say, man, I can't. I'm waiting on him to get right. Gosh, I'm waiting on him to get it together. It's too short. I think his leash has just gotten a little bit shorter. If we're going to go off on how Corey Davis as a first rounder, was undependable, not dependable when it came down to his health and stuff like that, or the AJ conversation, Kyle Phillips is not exempt from that. And I feel like because of it being in that position, you have to treat them all the same, and he's got to be out there. But good for him with that, with the fact that he has some weeks now to get his stuff together as far as getting healthy.
I just make sure it's 100% right.
Yeah. And that's what he has to do. He has to be selfish moving forward now. And does he have enough, emotional stock with Coach Vrabel? Probably not. But they can't tell him to go out there if he's not ready at this point.
Yeah, my bad on that. That's a good clarification on the pup list and IR. But I think for Kyle now, you can make the argument, and Devin made this point in the F&M Bank chat, that should the guy still be doing punt returns just based off of durability when he does get back?
No.
Because I don't want him back there because of ability. And now I also don't want him back there because he can't stay healthy. It's another way for him to get hurt.
I want him back there.
Still?
Really?
That's how he got. Is that how he's gotten injured every time?
It's the 53 now, y'all. 46 dressing on game day. Only reason I'm saying, if you got a weapon, there's no sense in saving bullets at this point.
So you say and if it happens again, it's almost like.
I'm speaking on the nature of the business.
No, and
almost.
I get your
and I know you
get
it. Yeah. No, put him back there, dude. And I'm sure he, as a player, wants to be back there to prove that he can make it. Yeah,
he does.
I say put him back there though, Will. Just because he is talented enough. If he gets injured again, I think we know what happens after that. You write your own script at that point.
Bye.
Yeah. Golly, this energy drink got me going this morning, man. Let's go.
Great.
We need to get sponsored by that one specific energy drink. Just saying.
Yeah, well, no more free shout-outs to them, right, huh, Kayla?
Nah.
But all in all, though, I was a little shocked by the Jaleel Johnson one, to go back to my original one, though, Will. Very interesting. And also Ben Neiman. They're both in the same conversation, just being completely honest with you. I didn't realize that he was that close to not making it. But the numbers suggest that the guys that they kept, as far as the Titans 53, they're fine still.
615-737-1045, our number. We go to the phones where Mike is in Clarksville first up this morning. Hey, Mike.
Morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Kayla.
Morning.
Wanted to ask Ramon specifically, what is going on with this organization? You brought up A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Kyle Phillips. This organization is soft tissue injuries, keeping these players on the sideline for soft tissue injuries. What's going on here? Is there a pattern, practice that they're not doing? It always seems to be the same soft tissue injury with this team.
No doubt. Great question. Sometimes it's the individual. I'll say that this year, I don't think it was as prevalent.
It's actually been way better this year.
It has been. I know they've been intentional about that too. Reading the GPSs that they have, those practice days, those full, half, and then shells days is what Vrabel, I think, has kind of had for the guys.
Especially, Moan, the DBs and wide receivers who were suffering those soft tissue injuries last year and the year before, not as much this year.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, too. I'll speak on Corey's. Y'all saw Corey's a little bit more. Corey his happened. He was a low-fat type of guy as far as his muscles and body type and stuff like that. Those things happen at those positions more often than not. This is a very physical bunch when it comes down to what they ask receivers to do in years past. I'm sure that will stay the same, too. AJ's situation was he just had to figure out how to take care of his body as a pro, I feel like. I don't know if we've seen as much stuff out of Philadelphia as we had when he was here. But, again, when you become a high percentage of the salary cap type of guy, you get more days off. You get more attention to detail. I'm sure A.J. Brown has become a better pro because of what he needs to do on and off the field with it. I don't think it's a problem as much as it may fall on the guys sometimes.
Yeah, and you saw it with Christian Fulton. You know, Vrabel called them out last year in terms of soft tissue injuries. What did he do this past offseason? He went to Miami and worked individually on things he needed to work on for his body. He's been healthy in camp, knock on wood.
Yes,
we hope that continues. And then just to note, too, Kyle Phillips was an MCL, and that was on the punt return.
Yeah.
In the Chicago game, I believe.
Yeah. No. Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah. Kyle Phillips, I think, is the one-off. His is just football injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a football
unfortunate
injury. Yeah.
situations.
That is a reality of just having smaller slot guys, too.
You're right. Adam Humphries, remember him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Hunter Renfrow and the injuries he's had in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's just an unfortunate side effect of that position.
It is.
There's not really much you can do to avoid having an MCL, LCL, ACL kind of injury, unfortunately. I mean, how much would you guys do, Ramon, to avoid things like that? Like injuries, like knee injuries specifically?
Knee injuries is simply a plyometrics.
Yeah.
This is what you do for the most part. Stopping. There's a ramp-up period, too. I had to learn how to train that way. I've seen other guys do small things with bands, body weight squats, stepping over hurdles, the track hurdles and stuff like that as far as the hips and knees and ankles and stuff like that goes, man. There's a lot to learn to become a full-time pro. I'll just leave it at that as far as you from your freshman year.
Yeah.
You did a lot more stuff your sophomore, junior, senior year.
Well, there was the first day my whole recruiting class at Tennessee realized that if we weren't staying 30 minutes after practice, we were doing it wrong.
Yep.
And coach was like in the training room, like, you guys just think you're good enough to leave right when practice is over?
Yeah.
We were like, I mean, yeah. We're like, McAllister's closes at 4:30. We're trying to get there before it closes. Like, actually, we had this thing called McAllister Monday, where we would try to finish our practice early and then sprint literally to Thompson Bowling and get a McAllister sandwich. And they closed at 4:30. And it was quickly like, hey, no, there are a lot of things, like there are a lot of things you got to do. Those bands, man, like you see something
tough.
with no weights and you think that you're just like, oh, I got an easy day today. Like, no, not really.
Not really.
Those resistant
Bands will
bands
get you.
are the money maker, baby.
I'm talking about push-ups with them.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
I do arms
gosh.
with, like, I'm telling you, those things are heaven.
Like the
They don't
squats,
feel like
body
it,
weight
but-
squats where your legs have to have tension on them.
The deadlifts where you put them around your neck and you stand on it.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
bands
it's good
is where it's at.
Bands will make you dance.
We're starting a whole
That's a totally different situation right there.
physical therapy.
Well, if one pops
business
you in the
here.
back of your neck, that'll definitely make you dance, man.
But it's amazing to that point, Will, the amount of time these guys spend after a practice day at the facility, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's just so much more that goes into it than just the hours we see them and that they're practicing because of those reasons, the training,
You have to know how to take care of your body. I heard somebody tell a young guy recently, hey, I heard you've been in training camp all this time. You hadn't got one massage? He was like, well,
Oh,
I didn't think about it. It's
Wow.
like, take it from an older guy that's been there. Go get a massage. Take
Heck
care of
yeah.
your feet. Like, I know we joke people about pedicures and stuff like that,
No.
but that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pedicures.
Yeah, absolutely. Your feet. You
You
got
just said pedicures are a big part of football.
They are.
Love it.
Did he just say that too?
Can we get that on
Probably.
as an opening?
No.
Thank you.
But they are. You got to take care of them dogs, man. Speaking of which, too, of guys not making it, how many of the summer award guys did not? Odukoya, as far as Rabel Awards, he
Right.
passed out. Odukoya.
Willis made it, right? I mean, was he? Was he a
Yes, he
practice
was.
off-season winner?
2023
Gibby made it.
Titans off-season award winners were Jaden Peavy made it.
Made it. Yeah.
Jack Gibbons made the team. He's a starter now.
Mm-hmm.
Arden Key
Made it.
Oh,
obviously made the team. Corey Levin,
Made it.
Ryan Tannehill, and Thomas Odukoya. So Odukoya was the only award winner to not make it. I think if you had to do something with Kyle Phillips,
Yeah.
his replacement is already on the roster,
Yep.
and Odukoya might be the guy you brought up.
Exactly.
And Odukoya has practice squad availability, of course.
Right, and has an exemption as a, like we mentioned, as an alum of the International Pathway Program. If he is brought back to the practice squad, he would not count towards the 16-man limit.
Yeah. And that's why I mentioned that, Will. Like 7 receivers is a lot. That's why I feel like there's a move there coming, possibly to open up one of those spots to bring back a
I
guy.
think, to me, too, it just shows a signal in the change of the offense.
Yeah. Oh, it does. Especially because you have 3 tight ends. If they keep with that for right now.
Right.
No fullback. Remember, this used to be a thing too on this team.
Fullback.
No fullbacks.
That's true. Yeah, Kevin Rader not there. Torrey Carter not there. Corey Blasingame is still in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of the list, we may have just been most wrong on wide receivers.
Oh, I
from
had
what
it
we did the
typed
other day.
out somewhere.
You did, okay.
I believe we
our
went,
guesses.
I want to say, so the ones we missed on, Colton Dowell,
Yep.
Xavier Newman. Did we have Justin Murray on our list?
Yes, he's
We
back.
did.
Oh, he's on the back end of mine, Will. Yes,
Okay, yes,
he
we
is.
did.
We did have Justin
We did.
Murray.
So on offense, we only missed Colton Dowell and Xavier Newman. I'm not going to count Dylan Radins.
No.
Because we didn't know his availability and what like that happened like a
Yeah.
couple minutes after we were done that morning.
It did, didn't
So
it?
I'm gonna count
a
Dylan
kid.
Radins, but I'm gonna put an asterisk
Yeah.
by it
Yeah.
for ones we missed on our 53. So we missed Radins, Newman, and Dowell, and then on defense we missed quite a bit.
we did.
I think everybody was shocked on defense in some of those DBs.
Naquan Jones, Monty Rice, Otis Reese, Anthony Kendall, Matthew Jackson. So we missed 8 total
Okay.
on the whole roster. That's not bad.
It's not too bad.
45 for 53, and then kicker again. I'm just saying we said there would be a kicker. We didn't
You
say who
named
it
him.
was.
You
I
named
did
him.
say
You
I did
named
say
him.
the kicker would either be Nick Folk or Will Lutz yesterday, and
Yeah.
it's Nick Folk, which we will get to coming up next. 615-737-1045. One thing about your new kicker that is going to give Titans fans some headaches. Yes, there are a lot of positives. We'll give you both sides of the coin coming up.
It's Kayla Anderson for the Ingram Agency. And what is the Ingram Agency? I'm here to tell you. A local agency that was founded from the ground up back in 2010. Chris Ingram, along with his team of fully licensed professionals, have really created a strong agency that focuses on serving not just Middle Tennessee, but the entire state. So let's say you really are looking at switching insurance companies, or you just need insurance in general. This is the company to work with, specializing in a wide array of products. They have everything, including auto, home, life, commercial, even aviation, if you're interested in that. And it's not your average insurance company. I kind of told you that, but it's really the truth. The Ingram Agency was founded on passion for education and support, and their goal has really always been to guide and protect clients comprehensively. So if you're looking at getting insurance or you just want to switch, this is a family-owned insurance company who cares about the customer. Call the Ingram Agency, 615 with the Ingram Agency.
Welcome to your Wednesday morning on RKW. We're powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors right here on 104.5 The Zone. Coming up in hour number 2, we've got the guys who did make it and may have surprised us, focusing in hour number 1 on who did not make the team, which has been a really interesting conversation, guys, because I do think there are a few more on the other side. I'll say it. I'll put it this way. There were more surprises on who made it than who didn't make it. There were some guys that it didn't shock me they weren't included, but the Titans kept other players who I didn't expect to be included, if I'm making sense.
I'd agree with you on that.
One guy who is included now officially is Nick Folk, your new kicker, who had 33 kickoffs during the 2022 season, which resulted in a touchback 9.1% of the time.
Now,
that is why he was made available, because the New England Patriots decided we want a younger guy who can not only make the kicks, but get them to the end zone on kickoffs. Yeah. Did the fair catch rule now in the NFL incentivize the Titans to go for accuracy and for more efficiency on field goals versus kickoffs? Because I don't know if the Titans make this move without the new rule.
That was my first thought after you said his efficiency as far as getting touchbacks. Now Craig Arkerman has to be strategic in all things that he wants to do, as far as directional kicking, as far as maybe a lot more, way more air underneath the balls. As far as kickoff goes, that way your coverage team has enough time to really box them in the corners. That way they have to fair catch it. Just hope you never go up against one of those speed demons or one of those avatars that's going to bring the ball out no matter what. That could be an issue, but almost anything can. You just have to make sure that kickoff coverage team, their coverage skills is at an elite level if your guy isn't kicking them out the back of the end zone.
Was that a Belichick thing, though, a little bit, in the way that he did that? Like, I had heard, and this was just me listening in on different platforms yesterday, that the touchback situation with him specifically was more just the way that Belichick wanted things.
Baited people to run it out.
So I don't know if that was intentional.
I don't think so.
I just wanted to throw that out there as being another situation to add into that.
I don't think that's the case.
He's known as a special teamer guy like that, though, Belichick, and I'll give credit where credit is due. That's what he does, but I'm not sure if one relates to the other.
Okay. I think that in this situation, guys, this is what we're seeing with kickers nowadays. Like, it's not a priority. And if you are an organization who considers it a priority, you're going to be like the New England Patriots, draft a guy in the 4th round, and he's going to be your starter like the guy is now. Yeah. But if you look around the league, what have we been seeing yesterday and all of this week? Teams going and getting kickers and trading last minute for veteran guys. It's been like a carousel. So I used to think it was just a Mike Vrabel thing, and just in terms of that's the last thing we're going to prioritize. But now I'm just thinking that's the league in general. Yeah. And so Nick Folk, in my eyes, he might not be perfect, and we'll see how it all shapes up. But what they thought was the best available. I also think it's always a connection with Vrabel, either the Patriots or Houston. He feels comfortable of knowing those two organizations well, where I think he feels comfortable. It's Stephen Gostkowski came from there. Yeah. So I'm not saying that was the reason, but there's little things that may have been like choose him over another guy.
I'll say this. This is coming here to be a kicker is almost like the girl who's had real bad boyfriends.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
It's like the new dude is up against the wall when it comes down to him figuring out, okay, what do I do and don't do? Like a kicker coming into this situation where it's been so many failed ones as of late, there's going to be a whole lot of pressure that comes to a guy like Nick Folk. But this is also the case. He's seen and done almost everything in this league, but he still has to fight that demon of trying to be the guy.
I mean, he was taken off kickoffs previously, so I don't think this is a strategy thing with him. Yeah. In 2019 and 2020, he only kicked off 4 times. So this is not I don't think, a Belichick thing. And reading around New England yesterday, the conversation was, this guy's going to get cut because he can't get it to the end zone on kickoffs anymore.
And he's 39 years old, let's be honest. Right. I mean, at some point, you got to move on. Also, I believe he's now guaranteed his full salary here, no matter what happens.
He'll count $2.8 million
Yeah.
against the cap, and the Titans cut Randy Bullock to save $2 million.
Okay, I'm a little
Worth it. No, that's absolutely worth
You
it.
think it's okay? Wait,
He hasn't missed
they
a field goal.
saved $2 million. Okay,
No, they didn't. They
No, they
spent
didn't.
$0.8 million.
0.8, $800,000.
He
you
is
think
not,
he's better than?
Well, he
than
hasn't
Randy?
missed a field goal from under 40 yards in the
Okay.
last 4 seasons.
I'll take it.
Todd in the FNN Bank chat asks or says Stonehouse will be your kickoff guy. No, he will not. Mike Vrabel put that to bed the other day.
He put it to bed already, too, on that one?
Said
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
not something they're looking to do.
Well, good.
So
Nice.
I do not expect. He said they would not use Stonehouse for kickoffs beyond emergencies. I know Brad asks that as well in the FNN Bank chat. So that's a logical guess to make based on his power, but that is not something the Titans are looking to do.
So let me go back to the one more time. So you think it was okay? Like you're better with Nick Folk at 39 years old, being released by the Patriots, obviously for a younger guy, than just keeping Randy Bullock and having your kicker already on the roster.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm still a little bit in the middle on this. We'll see how it plays out, but I was never for 100% just getting rid of Randy Bullock to get rid of him.
Yeah. Big Randy.
So
We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
Kicker's not the one where continuity on the roster matters much to me.
no, but they brought in 2 rookies and made a big deal about it. And neither of them, or not rookies, younger guys, and neither of them made the team and got into the situation you didn't even really need to be in it.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like, a lot of teams do that, though, just with kickers specifically. Because you knew somebody like Nick Folk was going to become available. But I don't know. For me, honestly, though, you could put prime Sebastian Janikowski on this roster, and I'd still be a little nervous on extra points. Still be a little nervous on field goals.
Yeah.
Told you.
To be determined.
It feels like defense against the dark arts at Hogwarts
You
sometimes.
have bad boyfriends out here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
what
believe
this
it when I
is.
see it.
Coming up in hour number 2, one wide receiver keeps his place on the 53-man roster. Was Colton Dowell's inclusion, the hometown guy, the biggest surprise yesterday when the Tennessee Titans made their 53-man roster official? That's next on our Mo and Kalen Will.
When it comes to large home repairs, a lot of the time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. We're afraid of what we're going to hear. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed now, or it could be a small problem that'll become bigger later, or it could be nothing at all. Bottom line, we don't know, and we certainly don't want to be sold something we don't need. What we need is a peace of mind. And United Structural System is the company to give you that. They have over 25,100% satisfied residential customers. And here's how they have made that happen. Number one, it starts with their employees. The attitude and culture is why they keep their employees year after year, from project managers to customer service to production to somebody answering the phones. Some have been at USS for 25 plus years. And if you do have some foundation repair or waterproofing done, you also have the peace of mind knowing that USS provides an honest diagnosis and stand by their work and warranties. This is huge. I'm telling you all, like myself, homeowners trust USS. They've been keeping homes dry and stable for 25 plus years. They guarantee their best every single time they come out to your house. USS serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. You can reach them online at USSTN.com or call them 615-488-7855.
7:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans got their kicker yesterday, trading a 7th-round pick to the Patriots for Nick Folk. Folk hit 32 of the 37 kicks last season for the Patriots, including 4 of 5 from 50-plus. Folk had been beaten out by a 4th-round pick, Chad Ryland, and that's why he was available. Some interesting notes from the Titans' initial 53-man rosters. By the way, teams can begin putting their practice squads together today, so you'll see some signings. We'll keep you up to date on all that. But some interesting notes. In addition to the entire rookie class making the initial 53-man roster, the Titans had 5 undrafted free agents make the roster. Wide receiver Kearis Jackson, outside linebacker Caleb Murphy, linebacker Otis Reese, cornerback Anthony Kendall, and special teams Matthew Jackson. Some of the players who were cut and could end up back with the Titans or on the practice squad: linebacker Chance Campbell, cornerback Eric Guerrer, wide receiver Mason Kinsey, John LeGlue with the offensive line, and Thomas Odukoya at tight end. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW on a Wednesday morning, we welcome you in to a beautiful fall day in Music City, USA. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. We've got Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. Robert Walsh is our producer. My name is Will Bowling. You can join us in the F&M Bank chat, watching the show wherever you watch live streams. That's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and, of course, Twitch.
Switch, please.
Thank you so much, Ramon Davenport. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. And on this show, we pay our bets. Mm-hmm. And we would like to officially proclaim that my bet has been paid.
Yeah.
To Ramon Foster. We bet months ago that the Titans would keep either 2 or 3 quarterbacks. I was on the side against Malik Willis, that they would only keep 2. Ramon Foster said he would take me up on that. And he did.
Yeah.
And I just did 45 push-ups in the first hour of the show.
And for
That's
clarity,
clutch.
you weren't against Malik, saying that he wasn't good enough. I just need to clarify that.
Right.
You were saying because of the history of the Tennessee Titans, they usually keep 2 quarterbacks, and Malik was on the outside looking in, for clarity.
And the fact that there's a new general manager who didn't draft Malik Willis, and like Kellen Mond in Minnesota, he was going to end up being the casualty to the 53-man roster, which is exactly what happened to Kellen Mond this time last year.
Yeah.
When Kwesi Adolfo got there, the guy who was also with Ran Carthon in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we betting on now?
That's a good question.
We do have
Kwesi Adolfo Mensa, the Vikings
you guys were
general
going to do
manager.
your college football predictions.
Yeah.
I know that could be a future bet.
Yeah, we've all got it. We're all doing that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Our
For the Vols, right?
Our Vols full game by game picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm into that. What's the next bet? We gotta have one.
Eyebrow tats.
Hello?
I will not be
That's a
doing
thing?
anything
Yeah,
with
it
my
is a
eyebrows.
thing.
You don't want your eyebrows tatted? You would
Yeah.
never have to get them waxed or anything?
Hell
Oh.
no.
I think we
Get
should
'em.
get.
Bert, I plucked them all
Oh,
off
that
as
guy.
a kid,
I think
and they didn't grow back.
I think Will should have to get Vols
It's true.
as a eyebrow tattoo. How cool would that be? Like,
That'd be
you
good.
don't notice it, but then you
Yeah.
look at Will hard enough and you're like, does your eyebrow have a Vols tattoo behind it? And you're like, yeah, it does. That would do wonders for your street cred.
I think that needs to
would.
be the back of your tongue tattoo.
Oh, those make those.
Vols.
That's an ick for me.
Vols.
the lip tattoo.
The lip tattoo thing. You meet a girl with a lip tattoo. It's like, oh,
Damn it.
thanks so much for
You're
playing.
like, hey,
Throw
let's
them
make
all
out.
my way.
And then she pulls down her
No.
lip, and it's like
Oh.
I
just
see
tatted.
that. No,
Terrible.
I instantly say demon is what I say. Nobody does that, okay?
I used to date a girl in college who had one and it just said granny.
Okay.
It was for her granny.
Anyway,
Wow. On her lip?
Yeah. Don't y'all judge me now by proxy.
definitely
Y'all
judging
judging
you.
me by proxy.
I
She
want
was a
less
wonderful
and less
woman.
details about
and
this.
so was her granny.
I want the fewest amount of details about this girl.
Are you pro women with tattoo, or does that make you like
Yeah,
nah,
I have no
Okay.
issue at all about tattoos.
just not the lip tattoo?
You know how many executives I've seen with like forearm tattoos, and they used to be like a taboo thing. Don't get a tattoo. You make sure you're able to cover up your tattoos.
Oh, it used to be a thing.
I've seen so many people with tattoos as far as like CEOs and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, go off. Go off, auntie.
In broadcasting, it used to be a thing. Like you don't dare put a tattoo that you're showing it. Like that was a
Really?
thing. Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what?
Nowadays it's not.
It's so cool. It's conversation. Well, it always was a conversation starter.
Yeah.
In the F&M Bank chat, there are many questions, Ramon Foster, saying, if we didn't see the push-ups, it didn't happen.
No.
Well, then, Lonzo, go on Twitter with everybody else, bud. Try to keep up. Thanks.
It's on Twitter, and I updated it too.
Yeah.
No,
and for the
They're on
record
there.
as well, you chose the path to get to 45 push-ups,
yeah.
and you chose for me to do them throughout 4 straight breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So I did 10 in the first break, 10 in the second break, and then I did the rest of the 25 in that last
Yeah,
break.
you did.
Yep.
I just wanted to get them done.
I saw them all.
Yeah.
I saw them all.
Well, we
I'm
got
on
witnesses. We'll knock them out, man. Man of your word. I was kind of, I didn't know if you was going to stand strong on this one, though, Will, because essentially you was just like, well, what if when you started giving scenarios of it to get traded, then
Right.
we'll split push-ups. I was like,
I threw my challenge flag. You
did.
went under the hood. You looked at the Surface tablet, and you came back and said, after further review, the call on the field is confirmed. 45 push-ups.
45
45.
Drop and give me 45, and I
There
did.
it goes.
Yeah. And they're logged in.
I'm not a hero.
You're a
but
better person because of it, though. You got better.
At least you got your workout in. That's what I'm jealous
No,
of.
that last 20
Dang.
plus 5 that he did, Kayla, I just saw a little perspiration on his
Yeah.
face.
It's the cardio
It's the
of it when you
cardio.
do that many that's the hardest
Sure.
part.
It is.
Now I feel compelled.
You went 20 straight, though. I don't think a lot of people can go 20 straight.
You know, like in there, I'm sure all the keyboard warriors will show up and like, I could do 100 push-ups, like whatever.
We
Because
should do a push-up challenge
on the
now.
internet, everyone's an Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
But I'll raise my hand and say, in high school, I would tell people I could do 50. And I was going like maybe halfway as far down to the ground as you actually should be. I was like, no, I can do 50 push-ups. I'm a real boy. And I like no shot. I was also like, I was I guess the size of like a goldfish that you would get in like a goldfish cracker. I was the size of one goldfish cracker when I was in high school. Robert's already writing down to try to save all of this.
Correct.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But that being said, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the most amount of push-ups like an average person could do
In today's climate?
at
In
once.
one
In
time?
today's climate,
Average person? We
the
don't want to get into that,
lack
do we?
of working out and activity, I'm putting the over-under at 25.
I'm
Like
putting
at one time.
under
Yeah, at
20,
one time.
Under 25.
That's what I'm saying.
I was gonna say
Like,
20.
You going under?
Yeah,
You going
I'm
under?
going under.
Yeah.
Because even like people who are in shape, like that's maybe not the greatest quality is their upper
Right.
body strength, right?
Sure.
It's hard.
See again, Olympic athletes in the F&M Bank chat. Eric says, I do 100 a day. Good for you,
Wow.
Eric.
He must be shaped like Geo did.
It's like-
He got no
I
body.
mean, Eric could be right. I mean,
Like
Eric's
Lieutenant
probably right.
Dan.
Eric's
But,
What's he
like,
supposed
flexing
to
on
be?
here, all right.
Sweetness out here? Who the heck is he supposed to be?
Hey, some people are just good at the upper body stuff, man.
I do them once a week.
Man.
I like planks, man. DeAndre Hopkins, he'll do those planks out there in the middle of practice, and I'm like, you need to up your body a little better on the form, a little better on the form.
You judging him?
Yeah, heck yeah, I am.
You judging him? Nah, I never judged that, but I'm sure his abs is friggin' insane anyway. But yeah, 25 is where I'm setting the number.
Okay. Was the biggest surprise on the 53-man roster yesterday Colton Dowell making it? Or was there a bigger surprise?
I'd say one of the surprises, and I'll explain why, because I think fans of Colton Dowell, and rightfully so, he's a local kid. He is a 7th-round pick. You're not guaranteed anything in that situation. I think a lot of fans wanted him to make the roster. Now, if you were at every practice and kind of saw him throughout camp, while there were so many improvements and you saw some real good hope in that last game with those 2 great catches, the momentum picked up really more so at the very end. there was some inconsistencies in camp. So I was along the lines of him making the practice squad, continuing to develop, while maybe one of these other surprises that didn't make the roster made the roster just with the camp they had. Okay, that's my explanation for it, for why I didn't think he'd make the roster. That's not going to say that I'm not glad he did. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. 7th round pick making the roster. All of Rand's guys made the roster.
Yeah, I would go that route. All the draft picks making the roster. I think that's a surprise. And Xavier Newman.
The specifics on that
Yeah.
coming up next, because Ramon specifically mentioned Xavier Newman earlier this week as a guy that you weren't overly impressed with down in the field when the Titans took on the Patriots last Friday. We'll get into that. We'll also get into Colton Dowell's inclusion and who is on the team. Spent the first hour on who didn't make it. Hour number 2 on who is out there, coming up next. What's up? It's Will. If your air conditioning is struggling to keep up, maybe it's time for a professional to check it out. Our friends at Lead Company, they've got you covered. And odds are, if your air conditioning is struggling a little bit, you found out over this last week, the triple digits, the humidity, it's been tough. Well, one of Lead Company's expert technicians, they're going to perform a 22-point inspection, as well as seasonal cleaning and maintenance. That's going to help you stay ahead of Mother Nature. And thanks to their visual findings platform, their professional team virtually shows you exactly what they see, in addition to updates and information on your unit's efficiency as well. Don't let your air conditioning fail this summer. Call Lead Company at 615-567-1000 or go to leadcompany.com/promotions to get $20 off your air conditioning tune-up today. The phone number again, 615-567-1000, leadcompany.com/promotions. Get your AC tune-up courtesy of Lead Company and get $20 off in the process. That's Lead Company, all you need. Wednesday morning on RKW, and it's powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Follow the show on Twitter at Ramon Kayla Will. It's one of the 4 places you can stream us live: Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. At The Ramon Foster, at Kayla Anderson TV. I am at Will_bowling. Spelled like the arena, not the sport. 615-737-1045 is our number. Xavier Newman, Ramon Foster.
Yeah.
Makes the Titans roster on the offensive line. You expected him to not make it. Why?
And I'll say this: congratulations to him.
Sure.
Okay, phenomenal. Okay, I'm excited for what this means for him and his family and everything else moving forward. Reason I didn't see him making it this year was because he was the reason in my evaluation of the film. He had a lot of leakage. I got to call it how it was. The times where he came into the game at guard, there was always something around him. I was watching him on the sideline this past weekend, and I was like, why is there pressure on the right side? Well, he was in on the right side. Now, something that he has to work on is being professional enough, savvy enough to pass off games. Anytime that he was in stunts up front, ETs were linebacker as well, the defensive end run into him and they loop around the D tackle, he always had leakage there. But I will say this too, where they have him on the 53-man roster is at center. He may be a future position. Where he was getting a lot of pressure was at guard, and I didn't like him at guard at all. The same way a lot of people didn't like Aaron Brewer at guard either. But I was just shocked because I felt like him making the 53, there's time for keeping a guy like him on roster as opposed to, putting him on practice squad. I think that position could have gone to somewhere else, but you get what you deserve in this league as far as that goes.
Are you okay with the names in terms of depth-wise on that line, or would you still like to see some corresponding moves with anybody who's been let go, maybe brought in? I'm talking about depth.
As far as depth, this group is solid as it stands, especially with Radens getting back in.
Okay.
I don't think we'll see what's going to happen from Radens moving forward.
Yeah.
But this is what I see out of this group. You got your starters plus some guys that have some rotational balance in them. Justin Murray being one of those guys, Corey Levin being one of those guys. Those may end up being your game day ready. Maybe Dylan Radens, Jalen Duncan, Xavier Newman, your practice squad guys. Your scout team guys. They're not practice squad because they're on the 53. They will be the 2 young men that get all the reps every single play as far as scout team go during the week.
Gotcha.
They got some developmental guys. I do love the way they've kind of set that up. And this is my thing. So I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about Xavier Newman. I was like, I don't know if this is, if he's going to make it. And somebody told me, well, they kind of like him. And I was like, I guess. I was like, and this is my response. It's good to be liked. It is.
Yeah.
So me pushing back on saying that what should or shouldn't have happened for him is everybody needs one person to like him when it comes down to you making that 53-man roster. And Xavier Newman is a guy that did enough to make this team, and it may be a developmental situation too. And they have that luxury because, again, you just got Dylan Radens back, and NPF is slated to come back at some point, after the first 6 weeks.
And he can be back at practice now after the first 3 weeks.
After the first 3, which is a beautiful thing that came out of the suspensions and CBA stuff. Is the worst thing you can do as far as being suspended is push a guy out of the window and he has no contact with the team. And then he's supposed to come back in after 6 weeks and be ready to play in a game. That makes no sense right there.
I agree.
Other surprises, we mentioned Colton Dowell. I was starting to come around on Colton Dowell in that Patriots game. I know he only made that one deep catch against New England. But again, guys, I think this speaks to Ran Carthon keeping his guys. And when you talk about every single one of his draft picks making it, in addition to a few undrafteds as well, Ran Carthon is banking on his own evaluations. And Mike Vrabel is banking on his evaluations with the, wait for it, collaboration.
There we go.
Of Ran Carthon. I think the Colton Dowell one's really interesting because I do think he fits the mold of a John Robinson wide receiver as well as maybe a Ran Carthon wide receiver. It has clearly done enough to earn their trust in a short amount of time on the team. That one did not shock me as much as it did some others. And you talk about a guy in Trayshawn Harrison, the undrafted out of Oregon State, who had a really good start to camp and then faded a little bit and didn't flash at all in the games. I thought it made sense taking all of that into account. I would rather the Titans keep 7 than 6 wide receivers because I feel like now they're at least playing the same game as most everyone else in the NFL. They're a little less grounded pound, 4 tight ends, dink and dunk. To me, it gives me optimism, guys, about the evolution of this offense, that they're keeping an extra wide receiver. And all that may be just because Kyle Phillips is going to be unavailable the first few weeks, and I understand that. But even still, we've seen this team so many times keep 4 tight ends, a fullback, and 3 running backs. And that's not the case this time.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Both of you guys, Bert too, real quick, and this is not coming at anybody. But if Colton Dowell had gone to Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, A&M, does the conversation change, or is it all of what you saw in the preseason?
Yeah. I think just more so look, there's guys on here with big names. They went to big name schools, right? There's guys that also made the team that are from D2 and D3 schools.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing about a Mike Vrabel team. He's going to give you a legit shot no matter where you're from to make this team, but it's based on your work.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me think that they really saw enough from Colton Dowell, not what I saw, not what the other media people saw, not what the fans saw, to keep him on the 53-man roster. Maybe they thought he could get picked up if they did release him, right?
Yep.
And he's a smart kid, guys. He is a really smart guy. And I won't call him a kid because he's like 24 or something.
I was going to say, I don't like when you call people kids who are like my age.
I'm also a girl. I feel like a mom to a lot of these guys, so I always say like kids. But yeah, I feel like he's a smart guy. He's picking up everything really well, and they saw enough in him to say, yeah, he deserves a roster spot. No matter where he went, he's doing what we need him to do.
No doubt.
Yeah, Colton Dowell's 2 years younger than me. Relax with that.
I know.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I gotta correct myself with that stuff. It's such a because I'm always around like this is gonna sound weird saying this. I'm always around the youth, and everybody's a kid to me, which they're young.
I never mean it as disparaging.
None of y'all are as bad as Buck though. One of my biggest pet peeves about Buck is when he's like, football season's here, kids. I'm like, bro, you're also a young man. Like, who are you calling kids?
Yeah, and I'm like,
nobody listening to you right now is a child.
Right.
Yeah, if you post on TikTok a certain amount of times a week, then you're automatically a kid, which Buck absolutely falls in that platform.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Well, Micah technically is.
Yeah.
Micah is a kid.
Micah counts.
He's in middle school.
He counts.
Yeah. I think the school thing doesn't make a difference for me because remember when Racey McMath got drafted? Mm-hmm. It didn't matter that he went to LSU. All the responses were, who? Mm-hmm. Because he wasn't a name brand from a name brand program, if that makes sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he was a guy that nobody knew on a national championship winning team. That actually worked against him, to me. I think the fact that Colton Dowell is a hometown kid makes people around him appreciate him and his inclusion even more on the roster. I mean, we've probably had more questions about Colton Dowell than any other player other than the first 3 picks, probably. Like if, in terms of the people who we interact with or the callers or the people in the F&M Bank chat who will ask us about specific newcomers, aside from Levis, Skoronski, and Spears, it feels like Colton Dowell's the one we get the most questions about because he's from Lebanon. He went to Wilson Central.
I had people asking about where to get his jersey yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. Go ahead.
No, we're rolling from there.
Did Bert, did you agree on that too? It doesn't matter the name?
Yeah.
Of the school?
For me, it's more about what you've done. As soon as you get here, it really doesn't matter where you went to school or what you did. Almost everybody's on a level playing field aside from draft compensation. Like, obviously, a first-round guy is going to carry a little bit more weight. But once you get to camp, I feel like all of that stuff kind of washes off.
For sure. I'm going to tell you guys, I got to be a better professional about my job. I'm just going to lay that out real quick, okay? It's because when you initially sent that post to our account, to our chat, Kayla.
Which one?
I felt like a butthole because I was like, Anthony Kendall?
Oh, when we were doing the cuts and stuff and who made it.
Great success story.
Great success.
Awesome success story.
I couldn't tell you a whole lot about what he did this preseason.
Not a lot of people could.
And I apologize to him for that. I'm going to be a better pro because of that, okay?
Sure.
Out of Division III, Baldwin Wallace College football.
200 followers
Anthony Kendall,
on Twitter.
Baldwin Wallace College.
Seriously.
Baldwin Wallace College. I missed that one. D3, man. Shout out to him. His school need to be posting him like crazy right now.
Quick trivia, and I'm on their athletic website. It's at the front page. What is the mascot for the Baldwin Wallace football program and for their athletic department?
I'm going with bees.
Jackets.
The Bees.
Yeah. You got yellow jackets or what? Jackets.
Robert?
We think too similar. I had it pulled up.
Oh, okay. They're the Yellow Jackets.
They're the yellow jackets.
The Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets.
I was going to ask, what state do you guys think?
I can try this one.
That's a better question.
Illinois.
I'm gonna. I'm gonna say Ohio because there are a lot of random schools in Ohio.
That's true.
I'm going to say Michigan.
It is in Ohio.
It is in Ohio.
Okay.
In Berea, Ohio.
Oh, it's in Berea?
That's the training camp for
It's like you know what
Cleveland.
Berea
I do know where it is.
Cleveland trains there for training camp.
That's where Cleveland goes to training camp.
Berea, Ohio is how
They
it's
do.
pronounced. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was today years old when I learned Berea, Ohio was a place on a map.
NFL cities, I got down well.
That's fair.
Cleveland does their training camps.
Yeah.
Colton Dowell, of course, not the only local product who makes the roster. A Hillsboro Borough. Matthew Jackson. Also making the roster.
Matthew Jackson, good, man. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad to where I have the opportunity to talk about the guys that made it too, because cut day, it is kind of depressing. You know what I did yesterday, man? I killed weeds in my yard and took like weeds out of my flower bed because I always hate this day.
You were cutting the weeds yesterday?
I was cutting the weeds while guys were getting cut just to distract me for a little bit, man. But yeah, we should be able to celebrate this. Otis Reese the fourth making it too.
Yeah.
Linebacker. Again, a lot of these guys will have positions that they have to play, but shout out to Matthew Jackson being local also.
Yeah.
And, of course, we got to give a shout out to VFL Morgan Cox. What is this, 15 seasons for him now?
Right?
I remember, and there are certain things you remember from going to sporting events growing up. I will make myself a kid for this one because the voice of Neyland Stadium, Bobby Denton, forever would say before extra points. And it's what I remember. Cox to snap, Woods to hold, Lincoln to attempt. And that was Morgan Cox, and he's still playing.
That's
so,
nuts.
shout out to Morgan Cox.
Shout out to Morgan, man.
You
Super solid.
always know the name of the long snapper at Tennessee games growing up when Bobby Denton was the public address announcer. Anyway, I'm getting off track. But Matthew Jackson, a guy that signed May 12th, undrafted out of Eastern Kentucky. He's a colonel. In his career, 294 tackles, 27.5 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 2 picks, 14 passes defended, 5 fumble recoveries, 3 forced fumbles. Guy that was everywhere in the FCS world. Had 7.5 TFLs as a senior, or as a graduate, I should say, because he was kind of an extra guy, extra year guy. To me, again, guys, this signals the Titans prioritizing the fact that your kicker is going to kick the ball a little bit shorter on kickoffs.
Yeah.
Craig Ackerman's kick team has got to be miles better than it has been in the past.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and with a lot of new guys. And I think Matthew Jackson specifically, him and Anthony Kendall, earn spots based on the way they've been tacklers on punt team. They've been gunners on punt team and have flashed in those moments. And to me, that's why those two are included as opposed to an Eric Garrer.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think you're right on that. And that's what we don't always see, or at least we don't always pay attention to that every day in practice, right? Those are things that the coaches are absolutely paying attention to. And so hence why you get some of the other names in there when we see them in preseason games flash with the interceptions or what have you. These are the things that in the long run, when you're trying to make the final cuts of a roster, on a Mike Vrabel team especially, if that's what they see in you, they're going to utilize that first and foremost if you're the best special teams guy. And these two were clearly those guys. Underwhelming in terms of what we talked about during the season. We didn't talk about them during training camp season, but they did enough to convince the coaches.
They did, man. And I'm going through the roster again right now. Cool little fact, I think every state school here is represented except for Memphis. As far as being,
so every state school.
Yeah.
Every Tennessee school.
Every time.
We didn't talk about Memphis schools. We're talking about Tennessee
We're talking
schools.
about Tennessee schools. But seriously though, UT Chat, you got East Tennessee, MTSU, Vols, that's Vandy. No Vandy, no Memphis. No Vandy, no Memphis.
You know who's on there though?
Who's that?
Washington State. Not Armani, but Andre Dillard.
Andre
You went
Dillard
1 for
made
2.
it.
Yeah,
Sure
I was
do.
trying to get 2
Sure do.
on there, folks. I was trying to get 2.
You went 1 for 2.
Dillard
Maybe
made it
practice
from
squad.
the day he signed. He was going to
Yeah,
make
right.
it. Man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
a lot
Morgan
of-
Cox, the Tennessee representative.
Tennessee representative, and Corey Levin as the UT Chat representative too.
Yeah.
And Bayard, of course, the mayor being the MTSU rep. I think that's pretty cool, man.
Tennessee.
UT
Right
Martin
here.
with
And-
Colton Dell.
Yeah,
UT
Tennessee.
Martin.
Skyhawks.
Skyhawks,
The
remember?
state.
My brother-in-law should be excited about that one right now. Opening day roster too, Will.
Pretty good. So there were guys that were made available who are former Titans around the NFL, including a lot of wide receivers. Remember the Des Fitzpatrick era in
Yes,
Tennessee? Hard
I
to
do.
forget it.
Oh yeah, we do.
You could go get him again if you wanted him.
Is he out?
He was cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, he was. I saw that.
Okay.
Adam Humphries, cut by the Houston Texans.
He's still playing?
Oh, yeah.
By the
Oh
Texans.
my
He's still out there.
God.
Yep.
He's had so many concussions and not being funny about that.
Yeesh.
Like, wow.
Yep, still available. Did not play all of last season. His last NFL time on the field was in 2021.
Let me ask you this: if that was you, would you chalk it up or would you continue to chase it? Didn't play all of last year and then you get cut again. That's got to be emotional as heck.
Depends on what the demand is for me in
Okay.
today.
Okay.
Because all the moves, practice squad moves, will be made today. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Bailey Zappi made available yesterday
Yeah.
by the New England Patriots.
Bailey's
They've
out
got
there.
one quarterback.
You got
right now.
your welding masks on for a hot take.
He didn't have a good showing here either. But go ahead. What's your hot take?
I'd rather have Bailey Zappi than Malik Willis. It's not going to
Oh,
happen.
boy.
Not gonna happen. Yeah.
Bailey Zappi had a quarterback rating of 100 last year.
Did he?
I think Bailey Zappi deserved a spot on that team and many others. I think Bailey Zappi's fine. He had Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinator last year.
But you wonder what then digressed this year to not even make it as a backup.
I know.
Was that more of a boost to Max saying you're our guy and we don't want to tool with your emotions having Bailey Zappi on the roster?
That may be
I'm
it. No,
serious.
no, seriously, that could
I
be
don't
it.
know how it works.
I'm being halfway sarcastic, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
Bailey, I'm just trolling all of you.
As you should. As you should.
It is kind of interesting though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you put those guys' stats side by side. Bailey Zappi last season in 4 games completed 70% of his passes, 5 touchdowns to 3 picks, had a quarterback rating of 100.9. Malik Willis completed 50% of his passes for 276 yards to Bailey's 781 in twice the games. Granted, a lot of those he came in to run one play out of the Wildcat. So really, he had about 5 games, Malik Willis, and had 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So again, it is interesting when we have all these in-depth conversation about quarterbacks this time of year who are not going to factor whatsoever into
It's
what
not.
happens this season.
It's not. It's just insurance and security is what you're looking for.
Right. Coming up, we will get to your phone calls, 615-737-1045. We'll start with Chris and Ray when we come back, taking your reaction to the Titans' 53-man roster on the other side here on RKW.
Hey, I'm joined now by certified arborist Dean Glasscock of Arbor Art Tree and Shrub. Your professional crew, they get it all done and they do it the right way, including full service and tree shrub care. And Dean, tell us about if you have crepe myrtle, there's something that you guys can do to help that, right?
Yeah, that's right. There's a bug, an insect that's here. It's crepe myrtle bark scaled. If anybody out there has crepe myrtles in their yard, which a lot of people do, you want to pay attention to that. If you're starting to see a black-like substance, honeydew on those trees and around your other shrubs in that area, you need to call us 615-299-9999. We can prevent that from happening. We can protect your crepe myrtles from the crepe myrtle bark scale. So it's a real epidemic. It's another one that's really coming along and progressing pretty quickly. The pressure is pretty high. So 615-299-9999. We can help you with your trees and shrubs around your home, as I've been talking about 29 years now. So give us a call, 615-299-9999. Also, we're hiring. If you're looking for a job, we want to talk to you. If you're good quality people, we want to hear from you. I appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of the week.
Appreciate you, Dean. That is Arbor Art Tree and Shrub for exceptional service every single time. Make sure to call 299-9999 or just simply log on to arborart.net.
Wrapping up the first half of the show on your Wednesday morning edition of RKW. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, and we'll be joined by Rhett Bryan in 15 minutes. What stood out to him the most when the Titans made their 53-man roster official yesterday? Get into all of that throughout Hour 3. We also give you the chance to complain at the end of the show on You're Not That Guy. Mm-hmm. Typically a Tuesday segment. If you're driving around, if you're at work, maybe go ahead and reserve a conference room now to call us at 9:20 for You're Not That Guy. Looking forward to that. I'm going to go against my own kind in hour number 4, and that's the only specifics I'll give you at this point. We go to the phones where Chris is in Nashville. First up, 615-737-1045. Hey, Chris.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Football season back in full effect, guys. So, look, I want to talk about our wide receiver core and how it's changing our offense. I'm looking at the schedule last year that we lost, and we lost the Giants, the Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, Jaguars, Chargers, Texans, Cowboys, and Jaguars again. And those are all pretty good teams, minus New York Giants. And we won to some horrible teams. I won't even mention those because it wasn't many, but we won to some horrible teams. And I think the main reason why is because they game plan so much for Derrick Henry. That game plan is going to work every time against us now. So I think that's why we're mixing it up. And we got not such a great offensive line, so mixing it up with screens and quick passes. I'm so excited about it. But I'm really called to see if Kearis Jackson or Colton Dowell will last longer. I'm excited to see their growth, but who will stand out the most between them, and just to see which of the guys takes on how faster our offense should be and how the game plan should change for us now.
Love it. Thanks, Chris.
That's fair, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be interesting. Well, before you get to the next calls, is whose career can carve out a better pathway, because Kearis has a lot of talent, was just behind a lot of guys at Georgia. Sure. But you look at what Colton has in front of him, it's very interesting. I had that initial thought of them keeping 7 wide receivers, like, well, are they kind of moving into a different era? Mm-hmm. But that's yet to be seen.
Yeah, and look, whoever can do the most right now to start at least their career, that's how you maintain, right?
Yep.
And then you let it go where it goes. So that's, I think, the biggest thing right now to take note of.
I would guess Colton Dowell will last longer.
That's where you got?
Because I think Kearis is partly a Kyle Phillips replacement in the short term. Even though Kyle is still on the team, you still need someone to do his job. I think there's a spot for both of them, though, certainly. Yeah. The whole season.
I do too.
Kearis was good for Georgia in 2020. Like, good for them. And fell off. And, I mean, you've got Georgia players who weren't playing on that roster who are now starters at playoff contenders. Like Bear Alexander at USC, who that's a separate discussion. But A.D. Mitchell at Texas. Like, there were plenty of talented players at Georgia who weren't even on the field, who would have been starters at most other playoff contenders. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Dowell also seems durable. I don't know what it is, the body type, the frame. Like, when I think about this team, I'm sorry, I have to add in durability. And it is a thing. And so that's part of the longevity factor too, right?
It is. It is, being available at all times.
Let's go to Ray in Nashville up next, 615-737-1045. Hey, Ray.
Hey, man. Good morning to everybody.
Morning.
I'm going to throw 2 words at you and see if it rings a bell. You're a new kicker, or just kicker, and physics.
Kicker and physics.
What bell should be ringing there, Ray?
It's a hell of a lot colder up in New England.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's fair. There's so many things surrounding that, though, as far as, like you said, Bill Belichick strategically trying to put the ball in play. But, Will, you also said they took him off of kickoff as far as Nick Foles.
Yeah, in 2020 and 2021, he only had 4 kickoffs.
He only had 4 kickoffs. They had 2 kickers, yeah.
I mean, that's something you could do. You could bring back, what's his name? The really tall kicker, Ryan Santoso, if you really wanted to.
Was he in Chicago?
Have a kickoff specialist. Wasn't he? I think he was in Carolina
I can't keep track of him at this
most
point.
recently. Jacksonville as well. 6'5", 260-pound kicker. Maybe that's a guy who can tackle on special teams.
Probably.
Playing 11 on 11 on kickoffs instead of 10 versus 11. We were talking to the Independence head coach last night. We've got Independence Centennial this weekend, and Scott Stidham, the head coach, and he mentioned to us, he's like, yeah, we've got probably the only kicker in the history of football who's also a hockey player.
What?
We're talking about that yesterday.
Oh, that's
the guy
a
that
good
made
combo.
the game-winning field goal in 3 overtimes for Independence over Page last Friday night.
He can certainly tackle.
Yeah.
What?
Well, he told us that. It was like, he might not still
Yeah.
tackle, but he's a hockey player.
At least you knew that.
Yeah.
He had
What
to.
in the world?
I
I
know.
don't think I've ever heard them two crossing over.
I know.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Right. So, other players that became available yesterday at wide receiver, there's one name specifically that I feel like has to find a home. Anthony Schwartz, the former Auburn player. I'm biased because he's a track runner, and I know that not all track runners should make it, because him and Devin Allen, who is a world championship medalist in the 110-meter hurdles, who I broadcasted on professional track meets, who is on the Eagles practice squad, just became available as well. And he's literally he is still a pro track runner. He just also plays football. Really talented wide receiver at Oregon. I'm not saying the Titans should add either of those guys. I'm not going to go that far in my bias level. But I will say that if the Titans want an opportunity to get faster at wide receiver, there are plenty of guys who are only speed demons who just became available, and Schwartz is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 22 years old, so very young.
Devin Allen is by far the fastest player in the NFL. It's not debatable to me. And Anthony Schwartz might be second.
Okay.
But between those two guys, if you wanted to get a lot faster and develop a wide receiver into something that you think could make the roster, there are plenty of guys who are just that, who just became available.
And you wonder, because it says Schwartz was dealing with a hammy injury early on at the start of camp, so maybe that played into the factor of he just wasn't available for the entire camp.
To be evaluated.
Right.
Well, and Cleveland was just deep. They've just drafted
Exactly.
a plethora of wide receivers every single year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
a
there's
lot
too
of
much
talent there
competition.
for him to overcome.
I feel like talking about Cleveland and all the talent they have is almost like yelling into a black hole. It means nothing every single time. They have so much talent up there, Bert. I'm going to say it. I hate them, okay? I just want to It's all right.
You're
to
not
say
breaking
that.
any news here.
Ooh, that felt good.
We did get one question about in the F&M Bank chat about Jamison Crowder, who did become available, cut by the Giants. I'll say this. The same people who complain about Nick Westbrook-Akine are typically the same ones who want Jamison Crowder, and Nick Westbrook-Akine is much better at this point in his career than Jamison Crowder is. Jamison Crowder last season played 4 games for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Had 6 catches on 13 targets for 60 yards all of last season. I'm not trying to be personal towards AJ who asked the question. It's a valid question.
It is.
I asked the same question yesterday. Then you look at the stats, and it's like, probably not.
What's the name of that one J. Cole song? Love Yours?
No such thing as a wide receiver that's better than yours.
Yeah. Just
we
love
go.
yours,
No
man.
such thing.
Yeah.
No such thing.
No
Coming up,
such thing.
Rhett
Give him a
Bryan
hug.
joins us. His perspective on the Titans' 53-man roster coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster and Will Bolin for Kellum Stem Cell Institute. I know you guys have heard us talk about this for a little while. I told you I'm going to make my appointment very soon to go get checked out and see how they can help me. I know I have the elbow. I know I got the knee. I might get my back checked out. But it's not just that. Congestive heart failure, they can help with that. Lung issues, they can help with that. Anything from asthma to arthritis, Will. I know you're a runner, man. You've had some stuff come up to yourself, man. You want to break it down to them, some things that they can explore?
Absolutely, because Dr. Kellum has worked with athletes and non-athletes alike. In fact, he just returned from Hungary, where he worked with Team USA, the Olympic team out there. He's been the team doc for the Boston Celtics. After 9 years of competitive athletics, being an SEC athlete, I'll stand up from a chair the wrong way sometimes, and you'll feel these aches and pains and bruises that still linger. You got to go to his website, KellumStemCellInstitute.com, KELLUM stemcellinstitute.com. This is not controversial stem cell therapy involving embryonic stem cells or replicating someone else's cells. These are your cells healing your body. Let this amazing technology work for you. Again, the website, KELLUM stemcellinstitute.com.
What's going on? 801 from the 1045 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. We had some Titans 53-man roster stuff yesterday, but the biggest move might have been their kicker. Titans got their kicker. They traded a 7th-round pick to the Patriots for kicker Nick Folk. Falk hit 32 of 37 kicks last season for the Patriots, including 4 of 5 from 50. Falk had been beaten out by fourth-round pick Chad Ryland as the excuse for his availability. Some interesting notes from the Titans' initial 53-man roster. In addition to the entire rookie class making the 53-man roster, which includes wide receivers and seventh-round pick Colton Dow, the Titans had 5 undrafted free agents make the roster. Wide receiver Kearis Jackson, outside linebacker Caleb Murphy, linebacker Otis Reese, cornerback Anthony Kendall, and special teams ace Matthew Jackson. Some players who were cut and could come back to the Titans or end up on their practice squad: Chance Campbell, Eric Guerra, Mason Kinsey, John LeGlue, Racy McMath, and linebacker Ben Neiman. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A beautiful Wednesday morning in Nashville continues right here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV. That's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where you can watch and interact with us in our chat presented by F&M Bank. We've got Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Robert Walsh behind the glass. And joining us in studio, he is the executive producer of Titans Radio, Mr. Rhett Bryan. Ready to go on a Wednesday morning. What's up, Rhett?
How do we do?
Yes.
We're good.
Good.
We are good.
Yeah,
Yeah. How you?
I'm good, man. Just trying to put as many bales of hay in the barn this week as I can, because next week's game week.
It is, man.
And so next week begins the gamut of Titans radio programming here on the Zone. So that continues the Mike Vrabel show. It started 2 weeks in a row. And then on Tuesday night next week starts Mac Talk with Coach Dave McGinnis and myself. And then Titans Tonight with Keith Bullock on Wednesday night.
Love
so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 to 7. And then game days are game days.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Sound like it's go time is what you're saying.
It is go time.
If you are a Titans fan, you have no excuse not to be updated.
Yeah.
That's
There's
right.
plenty of
We
opportunities.
are providing content and information.
Yes.
It is also the time of year where I find my old iPod Nano and charge it and get my wired headphones ready to take Titans Radio in my pocket with me to Titans games.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
that is
iPod Nano.
so an old. I give this PSA every year. I give this PSA every year. If you want to listen to Titans Radio while you're in Nissan Stadium, you can go on Amazon and get an old iPod Nano that has an FM radio in it, and the wired headphones act as the antenna,
That's cool.
and it's exactly on like the schedule you need. Like obviously, you know, the app, the digital streaming, whatever else in the state of Tennessee is going to have the delay. It is the perfect way to enjoy a
it's
Titans
real
game.
time,
Yeah.
synced up.
That's
what
right.
You're saying.
That's
yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
It is real time synced up. So I do that, put 2 headphones in while I'm walking to the game, and then sit with my family, have 1 headphone with y'all, 1 talking to my family. It's the way to do it. So iPod Nano, old one on Amazon, wired headphones.
How
Can't
about
be
that?
wireless.
So while he's having discussions with his parents and his family, we're always in his ears.
And they're listening
At
too,
least
by the
one
way.
of them.
It's big time, Rhett. That's all.
Multitask.
We all bring our radios in. That was always like the thing growing up going to games. You'd have the people, and I'm sure people still do it, of the headphones with the antenna
Sure.
on the headphones. That's
Oh
a
my
football
gosh.
guy.
Or someone that
is.
had the rare, as seen on TV gift of the Hat FM. And it's a ball cap.
Hat FM?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this before. What
It's
in
got
the
an
world?
antenna that comes
Yeah,
up the
I've
side.
seen those.
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, I've seen
Now, I
those,
tell
man.
you, what you said about listening to the broadcast makes me so happy. And there are folks all over the Mid-South who do this. I mean, I know people who are milking cows, baling hay, going to church, leaving church, it's amazing the people that listen to the broadcast, and it makes me so happy because that's why we do it, right?
It is.
And then we have, listeners like Joey in Portland who is blind and can't see what he needs to see. So we are his eyes.
We are.
And we get compliments of the highest order when that happens. But yeah, I think it's why we're all passionate on Titans Radio about doing what we do, because we want to deliver the best product that we can and tell the story.
Absolutely.
100%. So that was, I was telling my girlfriend about that going into Nissan Stadium Friday of like, just know that the rest of the times you're here with me, you're going to have one ear talking to you, and then one ear is going to be on Coach
You
Dave
will have
McGinnis.
some diverted attention, some divided attention.
Yeah.
But I'm still paying attention.
Absolutely. We'll get to the 53-man roster, the kicker, and all the additions the Titans made yesterday. But going back to Friday, Rhett, just obviously good to be back at Nissan Stadium and go through the routine of a game day. I would imagine for you guys, for us as fans, just going there, for everybody else covering it. But I did think the playing surface looked really good. It was just good to be back in there, although it was. I made the mistake of eating hot chicken in like 100 degrees
Yeah,
humidity.
that wasn't a good move by you.
Really wasn't.
It's not.
Sounds like Anchorman. Milk was a bad decision.
Yes.
That was in a glass case of emotion.
Someone punted Baxter off the bridge.
The bad man punted Baxter.
You ate the whole wheel of cheese?
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. So I'm going to watch that tonight. That movie is just so good.
That's Anchorman for y'all that don't know.
So good.
That, technically was the hottest game at Nissan Stadium, and even with a 7:15 kick.
Yeah.
So the previous date for that was September the 15th of 2019 when the field caught on fire.
I was on the field for that game.
I remember that one.
when they hosted the Indianapolis Colts. I think it was 93 at kickoff. It was 94 or 95 Friday night. And I'm telling you what, man, with those windows open, even in the booth, there was not enough AC in the world to make that even comfortable. It was hotter, as Coach Mack would say, than the hubs of hell. I mean, it was just wow. And I felt so bad. I mean, these guys just fighting their rear ends off for a roster spot. Just cooking out there.
Yeah.
But you look at you. You doubled down and had hot chicken in the middle.
Peyton,
Feels like 107. I'm going to take it. Feels like 150.
I ordered the medium. Which is the.
Was this party foul?
Yeah, it was. It was party foul hot chicken. The section where we are, and I ordered the medium, and the lady looks at me sideways and goes, "You know that's really hot, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." I know.
And then on the way home, you went to Hooters and had some 3 Mile Island wings, right?
Cool it down.
Peyton, my girlfriend, if you're listening, I did not go to Hooters after the game.
He took me, Keish.
No, stop.
No, I only mentioned that as the place that has the 3 Mile Island heat wings. So.
And then she tried like one of the tenders, and she was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Well,
Real
good, though.
questions.
to answer your question, Peyton, I am murdering my taste buds.
Yep.
In the words of Andy Bernard, I was not looking in the smart part of my brain. It was funny though, Rhett, because
I hate him.
the last time a lot of us were in Nissan Stadium, the last time we were all in Nissan Stadium, it was one of the coldest games on record in the history of Nissan Stadium on
Had an hour delay because
Christmas
of
Eve.
rolling blackouts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have those rolling
That was
blackouts.
a weird day.
Oh,
Yeah, it was ridiculously
Yeah, it was.
cold.
anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
Contrast. Contrast there.
a little bit.
Milk was a bad choice.
You know, I know we're going to get I know we're going to
that.
get into the roster moves in this. I think the interesting thing from the league perspective is seeing, because this is one of those times where there's only one cut all the way down to 53,
Yeah.
and all 32 teams are dealing with that. And in particular, pertinent to the Titans, like about a half a dozen other teams looking for a kicker, end up making a trade for one. But I find it interesting. I will be interested to see when the trade deadline comes if there is as many trades on the trade deadline as there was yesterday. There were 10 trades, if I'm looking at the transactions report from the NFL correctly. And not just kickers. I mean, we're talking there's receivers and corners. I mean, Noah Igbenogany gets shipped to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
Albert O, the tight end from the Broncos, gets shipped to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Carlos Boogie Basham, for a second-round pick, goes to New York to play for already a good Giants defense under Brian Dable. So, yeah, there's some stuff there. But 10 trades yesterday prior to the deadline of everyone getting to the 53-man mandatory roster. Pretty wild.
Absolutely. It is pretty wild. The Boogie Basham one surprised, but they got a huge amount of young defensive line talent, though, too.
Oh, God.
Sure.
They seem like they drafted one every AJ Epinesa and then Boogie
Rousseau.
Basham the next year. Yeah,
they
all
got
of those
a
guys.
lot of talent
Greg Rousseau,
there.
that's right.
I'm still shocked, though. Well, I'm not shocked, but Von's out for the first 4 weeks. I just didn't expect Boogie Basham to be on the trading block,
And
because
Vaughn
of
didn't
that.
pass his physical, right?
I think that's what it
Yeah.
was, yes. But the thing was, he got injured with them.
Right,
So he's
right.
a liability to the Buffalo Bills.
It's pertinent to your wager that Will Bowling paid up on in the push-ups.
That's right.
The backup quarterback stuff is interesting around the league, too. I mean, obviously, the Titans keep 3 quarterbacks in this. I wouldn't have made that bet if I were you, but you paid off on it, so we're done with that. But you look, I mean, I'm the biggest surprise for me yesterday is the Patriots cutting Bailey Zappi.
Yeah. And did you
I
just see
didn't-
the latest on that?
No.
They're going to sign him to the practice squad if he obviously clears waivers. But that's
Good
a
luck
whole
with
if.
that.
That's a whole if, right?
And then you have the whole deal where, last week Josh Dobbs was named as the backup quarterback in Cleveland, and then hours later is shipped to Arizona. So Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the undrafted rookie from UCLA, or maybe he was drafted. Anyway, quarterback makes the backup there. Josh Dobbs is probably going to start the first 4 games for the Cardinals because, Kyler Murray's on PUP. Jake Browning beats out Trevor Siemian to get the Bengals backup job. And then speaking of Buffalo, that's what made me think about this. We were talking about Buffalo. Matt Barkley's put on IR. Kyle Allen is the backup to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
That's something to watch in this.
Allen and Allen.
Allen and Allen.
Associates and touchdowns.
Yes.
There we go.
Unlike Morgan and Morgan for the people.
Way better. Did I say that?
I'm not going to acknowledge it, but yeah, I think so.
I didn't hear a thing.
I don't know who it
Didn't
was.
hear a thing.
Well, coming up, we'll dive into those moves and many others. Plus, a former Titan who was cut by an AFC South team yesterday and reportedly just got picked up by an AFC North team minutes ago. We'll get to that coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, if you ever looking for it's a company, an established company, to come do some work on your house for your plumbing or heating and cooling or electrical, there is nobody better than Hiller, okay? 100% satisfaction guarantee is what they want. Happy you'll be or the service is free. That's their motto. I promise you that. Hear me out. Happy you'll be or the service is free. Every time they've come out to my house, they have been professional. There's a lot of experience of their technicians that come out to your house too, and they are trustworthy. The best part about I like working with Hiller is this. When they're on their way, they send you a picture of the technician, their license plate, and what their name is whenever they show up. There's nothing better than knowing that whoever's coming into your house is going to take good care of it and get it done fairly and at a good price, because that's another thing that Hiller does. They have true transparency pricing. No hidden fees, no added costs, no surprises when you get your bill. Everything is itemized, and I've seen it on their iPads, and they explain it to you up front so you know what you're paying for and why. They only suggest repairs or replacement the customer actually needs. And you know why? It's because they're family owned and operated. There's a sense of pride in that, and they've been here since 1990. If you're like me, you need some work done around your house, visit happyhiller.com. Again, happyhiller.com.
Hour number 3 rolls on your Wednesday morning commute. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. We've got Rhett Bryan in studio with us. Rhett, what are we listening to right now?
This is Steely Dan from their 1977 release, Asia. It's called Black Cow, which is the equivalent to a Coke float. They say, drink your big black cow and get out of here.
That's right. This is a good. I know this one.
Dude,
You
Steely
were
Dan.
high.
The
Come on,
smooth
Burr.
vocals of Steely Dan. I grew up with this. My mama loved some Steely Dan.
One of my best friends in high school is like the biggest Steely Dan fan in the world. Is my age. My buddy Matt loves these guys. So I would listen to these guys a good bit in high school.
Name of this song right here, Rhett B?
Black Cow.
Black Cow.
It's a good vibe.
The thing about Steely Dan is Walter Fagen and Donald Fagen and Walter Becker were perfectionists in the studio, so much that I think they drove a lot of their band crazy, and they would just bring in session musicians and just riff and take takes, and they just produced the you-know-what out of their records. And they really they were game-changing, in my opinion, because they had so much infusion. There's R&B vibes there. There's serious jazz vibes there. And you know the song?
Yes, the
But what do you
first
know it
time
from?
I heard this song, and I want Bert to see if he can find the clean version of it. They used the bed right there. It's the song Deja Vu,
Yeah.
Uptown Baby,
Yeah.
Uptown Baby by Lord Tariq and Peter Guns in 1997.
And so they sampled Black
They
Cow.
sampled yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've heard
And that
this
speaks
beat
to what I'm talking
before.
about, because you go see Steely Dan in concert, a lot of black folks there
Yes.
having a good time now.
Which is
'Cause
crazy.
it's good. That's some good music.
That beat right there sounds like funk, sounds like hip hop. And this was, when did this song come out?
1977.
That's 77.
Yeah.
And this was used in 1997
years
as a
later.
sample.
Yeah.
That's insane right
Yeah.
there. We're going to have to listen to that on
Some
the break.
really good. I've listened to Steely Dan most of my life.
Nice.
And
Is this the Lord Tariq?
Bum, bum,
Same bit.
dun, 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 dun.
Some cool stuff. I like tying that
in
together.
the corner of my eyes, you were there at Rudy's. You were very high. That's what it says.
There you go.
Yeah. That's
Big
some
Orange
cold
Mac
stuff
already
right
on
there.
Twitter at Ramon Kayla Will has Morgan Freeman applauding and saying
damn
playing
it.
Steely Dan this morning at Ramon Kayla Will.
There it is.
Applauding us. There you go.
Man, that takes me back right there. I was 11 years old.
I saw them
man.
at Ascend Amphitheater the first year it was open right there at the Korean Veterans Bridge.
I got to get to a
And,
show there.
Yeah.
They were fantastic. Elvis Costello opened up for him. He was pretty dang good himself. And but yeah,
They're
good
still
stuff.
touring?
Yeah, they are now. Walter Becker died a few years after I saw them, but they are still around. I think they came here last year, maybe, or the year
Oh, wow.
before.
Man,
and I think they came to the Ryman the last
Okay.
time they were here.
to Bert's point, the amphitheater have some real
Yeah.
clutch concerts. I
Oh,
heard
yeah.
somebody say Nas performing there was
Yeah.
one of the best concerts they've ever seen at the
Yeah.
amphitheater.
It is my favorite concert venue in Nashville.
Get out.
I don't say that lightly. I saw the 1975 there 4 years ago,
Legit.
and it was
Part
outstanding.
of it is the ambience that you're sitting outside. There's the hill kind of comes up and
Yeah.
feeds people down into this, and the sound travels up the hill, and then you're right here by the Cumberland River. You're looking at the Nashville skyline. There's a lot of vibes there that are real, and that's what a lot of us older folks miss about not having Starwood Amphitheater out in Antioch. Now, that's Antioch. This has more amenities close by and more, but it has that feel to it because especially if the weather's right, really good.
I don't think this is a hot take, but I would much rather see a musical act or a band in an amphitheater than in a enclosed stadium or a stadium anywhere. I would rather go to an amphitheater than anywhere else to see music.
Yeah, especially if they're a jam band or it's a festival
Yeah.
or something of that nature. Yeah, I
don't
would agree
praise-
with that.
I don't praise Alabama that much, but we went down to the Orion Amphitheater last weekend.
Orion Amphitheater.
And it was incredible. I think every time I go to one of them, I'm super impressed, even if they are.
What was the name of the place was it a festival or is it just a concert?
Billy Strings. Just Billy Strings. It was
Billy
kinda like-
Strings at Orion Amphitheater.
Tickets on sale now.
So you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
I didn't know if you were talking about the band Alabama or the state there at Firstburg.
Well, Alabama used to have
I
a
know.
big festival down there every year.
Yeah.
June Jam, I think, or something
I
like
thought you was
that.
going to say it's between family members and cousins. Never
Nope.
mind.
To the Titans.
Hey, good buddy.
So the Tennessee Titans
boy.
had their 53-man roster yesterday.
Pivoting, yes.
Real quick, too, you mentioned the Bailey Zappi cut made by the Patriots.
Bailey Zappi.
So I was listening to a podcast with Paul Feinbaum and Andy Staples, the podcast Andy Staples on 3 yesterday, that said, on a Nick Saban point, said it's kind of funny whenever Nick Saban does something really weird, because he didn't release a depth chart this Monday, which everyone else did, said when he doesn't do something, and I think the same applies to Bill Belichick, the response is never, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing or anything like that. It's, oh, he's an evil genius. What's he cooking up? He's got a plan. To me, to your point about Bailey Zappi being cut and that being one of maybe the weirdest moves made yesterday, it's just funny that the reaction is always like, oh, what's Bill Belichick doing? Like, he's got a plan. And it's such a positive reaction to it. I don't know. It's just funny to me.
Well, and part of it is, Coach Mack always talks about how much water a guy's got in his bucket. And,
Right.
He's the all-time winningest coach in the National Football League. So, I mean, you're going to get those comments and looks when you have that kind of pedigree. And it's like Saban in the college level.
Right.
Same kind of thing. What's Nick Saban cooking up? It's
Sure.
like, look, Nick Saban's trying to figure out how to beat Georgia.
Right.
That's what Nick Saban's got cooked up. Let's just be honest.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on.
So anyway, that was an interesting move.
Sure.
But the Titans keeping Colton Dowell, that was a big topic of conversation. Kyrus Jackson as well. Anthony Kendall and Matthew Jackson on the defensive side, maybe two of the biggest surprises. Rhett, how much do you think the Titans are prioritizing special team tacklers by also trading for a kicker that isn't quite as strong when it comes to touchbacks in the kickoff game?
Well, all right. First of all, on the kicker part, the kickoff part is a valid topic there, but when you're looking about the consistency as a kicker, period, I'm sure they want kickoff to be, a part of this conversation, but putting it through the uprights, I think, is the bigger part of this when you're talking about points per possession. And he's been solid for them in the 4 years he's been in New England. I mean, his make percentage is way up in the 80s, maybe even to the low 90s. But I'd have to look at that. So I can see why, and you gave up a 7 in 2025. It's not like you're, going for something greater than that. But I like that move to try to see if they can bring some consistency to that position because, the two undrafteds from 2022 and Caleb Shudak and in 2023 with Trey Wolf, it didn't work out. And, I said it on y'all's show a week ago or whatever it was. I was like, I don't think the kicker's on the roster. Well, hopefully the kicker's on the roster now because they, made a trade there. In terms of how the initial roster shaped up, I find it interesting. I'm just a weirdo when it comes to this stuff, but numerically going into numerical order in ascending order, there's 5 guys right there on the roster. They're all undrafted that made this roster. Matt Jackson, the local product. Then Anthony Kendall, you mentioned. Otis Reese, the linebacker. Caleb Murphy, the pass rusher. And then safety Mike Brown. All right there. Boom, 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 boom. So Matt Jackson, core special teamer. That's one of the reasons why he makes this roster initially. Anthony Kendall, at least 2-phase special team guy.
And I got to
interject. They consider him a corner.
I missed that one. I did. This preseason. I didn't realize how effective he was on teams when it came down to his job.
Matt Jackson or Kendall or both?
Kendall.
Yeah. Sure.
And that's usually how it goes. Those dudes last a long time because they do those things well. And the one coach that has to see that is Craig Archer.
Well, it's those little things that people are paying a lot of attention to main battles and position groups, but those are the things that kind of fly under the radar. Like this is what Coach Dave McGinnis, bless his soul, has taught me in looking at the finite things like who is the personal protector in punt formation. Those who do you see lining up doing that stuff? You're like, yeah, that's important because
it is.
That person's probably going to make the roster.
Yeah,
if they've done a good job in that
so true.
capacity. Otis Reese, you heard Mike Vrabel speak about him multiple times throughout the preseason. They like what he brings to this thing, and he brings some pop when he gets in there now. Caleb Murphy has written his own ticket, and 8 tackles, 4 for loss, 4 quarterback sacks, 4 quarterback hits in 3 preseason games. And pass rushers are one of the 4 key things that you're always looking for: corner, a returner, a pass rusher, and I forget what the fourth, a left tackle.
Left tackle.
Sure.
Yep.
Even if he's just situational, he's got a knack for this to find the passer and the football in this. So, I think it's a great story. I think the biggest thing is him putting on an NFL body of armor.
Yeah.
Just like what Rashad Weaver has
We've
done.
Yeah.
Because Weaver looks like a different cat now, right?
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing is the 7 wide receivers and 3 tight ends.
Boom.
That's something a lot of people are focusing on. I'm not 100% convinced that they don't add another tight end at some point, maybe even before next week's game, because they traditionally have kept 4 tight ends in this. We'll see what happens, but that's something to kind of keep your eye on, because I promise you, this initial 53-man roster is probably not going to be the same as what it'll be before they go into New Orleans next week.
Rhett, would it be something where possibly Kyle was put on IR to give him more time to heal, and then that would open up a spot for potential
the return? Yeah, because if you put him on
Yeah.
IR before yesterday, he's out
He's
for the
out
year.
for the season.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that could be a part of this, and one of the reasons why Kearis Jackson makes it, because if the knee is what it's been reported and what we think it to be, then Kearis Jackson would probably be the punt returner for at least the first couple of weeks, just trying to figure all this out. So yeah, there may be some chess pieces moved around in that way, but again, the 4 tight end thing is what. Non-4 tight end thing at this point is what got my attention more so than just the 7 receivers they got.
How good is it to be managed well? And I say that in the sense of having Hassan Haskins being on the commissioner exempt list. Sucks for him, but I'll say this: he still gets his checks. He still gets the opportunity to be in the NFL. He's just not a part of the 53-man roster or practice squad at this point.
And when you get moved to that list, that is an indication that the league is doing their investigation in this.
Yes.
Okay.
And all of the legal process is taking its course in whatever way that is separately, but it's on the same topic and the same incident that happened. So, yeah, that means that shift is, to be able to, for the league to do their investigation in what is going on in his personal situation.
Yeah.
Thomas Odukoya, going back to the tight ends for a second, that could be a guy that, gets put on the practice squad, and maybe there's, because you get call-ups, multiple call-ups.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of what the idea there is. We will see. But, yeah, when you look at this, the entire draft class made it.
Yeah.
5 undrafteds, and then some undrafteds from previous years. I mean, Jaden Peavy last year.
Right.
And then the poster child for that would be Tierra Tart, who, man, I mean, good gracious. Tierra Tart, I'm excited to see what he does this year with that defensive front, because, wow, he's feeling it. He is definitely feeling it. And talking to Kevin Byard in the open locker room about it a couple days ago, I think the interesting thing in this is, and I'm going to knock on wood. I'll just knock on my head because it's wooden. The injury status right now is I'm going to say good and real quickly and hope nobody heard it, because Mike Vrabel, it should be brought up again. The difference he brought up in the way he constructed this training camp schedule, and you see a lot of starters, a lot of guys not getting the maintenance days like you have seen in the past. And in his whole "let's be a callus, not a blister" line of thought, I think it started to pay dividends early on, because that roster, this time a year ago and 2 years ago, there were cuts made. It's like easy. I mean, wave injured.
Yeah.
So I like that part of that going into this. And I think this team, there's so many good pieces sitting right here, ready to roll.
Sure.
I think, the offensive line and what they're doing continues to be a point of emphasis, as it has been all offseason.
Yeah.
And then how the rest of this shakes out in a couple of spots and in the inside linebackers.
Yep.
So, But if Nick Folk is good as the kicker, then the rest of this seems like it's pretty good, right?
And Rhett, for the people out there that are wondering, okay, when do we start to find out how this practice squad fills up? And Justin M., who's been doing a great job on
Justin
on X,
Mello has been on it.
He's been on it. He just reported they intend to sign Thomas Odukoyo to the practice squad.
There it is.
So there's that. But when can people kind of start to see the stuff happening? Because it's pretty much today, I think it starts.
Yep.
Yeah, because you would have been, first of all, they have to clear waivers. And so the 24-hour mark would be at 3 o'clock today in terms of how all this is filtered through. And then the Titans are 11th in the waiver order, if I'm not mistaken, if there's someone they want to claim.
Sure.
But if they clear waivers, then you can talk. And I fully anticipate Eric Guerra being on that, Shaheem Carter, several of these guys that they released, I would anticipate being on that 16-man practice squad.
One former Titan who has a new home in the AFC North, Desmond King, former Texans corner, was just signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, wow. Going to your
Mentioned that before the
Steelers.
break.
I was doing my pod yesterday, and people kept dropping his name. I was like, really? This is happening? But you can't say whether for sure it's happening or not.
Sure.
But yeah, there was word yesterday. I don't know how word get out so quick on that type of stuff, you know?
People have their ear to the ground in Western Pennsylvania. baby.
Right. They're ready to
You know
go.
this.
So good.
Ramon is obsessed with I Think You Should Leave memes. For those of you who can't tell, of the I gotta make money off this. It's
Yeah.
too good.
You know how often I say that? I gotta make
You
money
sure
off
about
this.
that?
You sure about that?
You sure about that?
I wasn't sure about this though, right? Number teaser before going up to the break, man, was Jaleel Johnson versus Naquan. I thought both. Well, I had yesterday Jaleel making it, not Naquan, and Naquan made it, not Jaleel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fascinating.
That's interesting.
Well, Naquan certainly knows how this works.
Yes.
He knows the defense and was reported he had a procedure on his knee to get cleaned up. And so, I think that's how that, the minute that he started coming back in this, when we didn't see a whole lot of him in the preseason and in training camp, it's like, yep. There's a sign there.
Sure.
Just like the whole Dylan Radins thing.
Yeah.
Because the Dylan Radins thing kind of threw a wrench into people's roster predictions in this.
It really did.
But, who would have thought they would have had him off of PUP list 9 months after,
Sure.
an ACL. And, I think that speaks to how hard he's been working to get back in this. And listen, for a position group that has questions and things around it, he can help in this.
I agree.
Rhett Bryan with us every Wednesday here on the show. Rhett, thank you. Enjoy the calm before the football this weekend.
Oh, yes, and there's college football
There we go.
this weekend. Talking about college football, everybody.
Oh,
Nelly. Keith Jackson, the granddaddy of them all. That's not until later on in the season, but it feels like it now.
Yeah, for now, while the Pac-12 and Big Ten still have a bowl game together.
One more year, baby.
Coming
One more
up,
year.
speaking of some college football, Steve Sarkisian with a little shot across the bow against the Big 12 commissioner. Coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Scoreboard Bar and Grill. Fall in Tennessee is maybe the best time of the year. Definitely the best time for me. I love it. And Scoreboard is ready to celebrate it with Low Country Bulls, football, and the best live music in Nashville. Now they have two great locations. The original across from the Grand Ole Opry and now on the shores of Old Hickory Lake. If it's Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday night, both scoreboards will have all the games, food, and music you want. By boat, Harley, truck, or chopper, you can land at either location. If it's football time at Scoreboard, are you ready for some football? Join the 3HL this Friday from 3 to 6 as they broadcast live from the original Scoreboard location across from the Grand Ole Opry. And if you're in this city, you know exactly where they're at. And listen up, y'all. This will be your last chance to win a pair of sweet tickets to the UT Virginia game with food and drink included. Sit in the AC and watch my Vols beat up on Virginia this weekend. You must be present to win, so be sure to be there. Mark your calendars and get your appetite ready. The chicken tenders are phenomenal, by the way. All you can eat Low Country Bowl starts Saturday, September 9th, noon to 5 p.m. See you soon at either scoreboard.
Rolling right along into the end of hour number 3. It is Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. If you miss any hours of the show, you can find them wherever you download podcasts. We recommend you hit the subscribe button on Apple or Spotify or both. Leave a rating while you're there.
Please.
Need some new ratings, some fresh ink in the rating part of Apple Podcasts. Follow us while you're there. Helps us out.
That's what I was gonna say. Follow
And helps
that
you out.
That show account, Will. Drop that at, man.
At
That
Ramon, Kayla, Will. How many Twitter followers are you up to now? by the way?
I am
That's
up
right.
to now, man.
You're like
Yeah, man, I appreciate
1900,
y'all
aren't
for
you?
following me. I'm close to 1,900, if
Wow.
not at 1,900. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
1,900?
And
Yeah.
you started your Twitter account on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, you told people about the Twitter
Sure
account you
did.
started.
I am at 1853.
Good year.
I've had a Twitter account since I was a senior in high school.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't break 1,000 until I came to Nashville. It
Well,
must be
that's-
nice to be on the other side.
Hey,
At
man.
the Ramon Foster, if you want to get him to 2,000 for the show is.
Yeah.
No,
At-
y'all all unfollow him.
At Robbie_Walsh.
And all of y'all come follow me.
Help Robert get there too. At Kayla Anderson TV, I'm at Will_Bowling.
Yeah.
Spelled Boling, not like the sport.
Got a long way to get to 80,000 like my old account, but hey,
Oh, gosh.
I know.
I forget you had that many.
I'm going to get it back. I promise you. I'm getting it back at
well,
some point.
we need people to follow us at Ramon Kayla Will because 3HL has more followers than the Zone.
Hey, now.
3HL has 60,000.
Do that.
Yeah.
The Zone has 58,000.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Dang.
Turn up.
The zone's popping too, man. I'm so
Yeah.
lame. Why
I
you hang
think
out with me?
when I got here, I want to say the Zone was under 50. I think the Zone was
Really?
like 48K when I got
Okay.
here. I'm not saying that to take personal credit.
It's
I'm not
lifted
really
its
that funny.
followers.
I mean, if you like that, then you like that, Will.
You like that.
You like that.
You know what I do like is Steve Sarkisian going back at Brett Yormark, Big
Oh,
12
boy.
commissioner. So listen to this audio from Steve Sarkisian yesterday. Tell me if this is too sensitive or if this is just right from the head coach of the other UT, the not real UT. Here's Steve Sarkisian.
The hate, did you ever think it would extend to the commissioner of your conference, whether or not he was playing to his audience? And I'm guessing your players might have heard that too.
Well, you're trying to get me in trouble, Roger. But I jokingly aside, but not. You know, I got a letter from the commissioner about sportsmanship the day before that speech, and so I'm trying to figure out, about what are we promoting to our student athletes, and then to go say those types of things. So I'm not guessing he's going to have his Thanksgiving dinner with us the night before that game.
So if you missed the original comment, Brett Yormark was at a Lubbock quarterback club and essentially told the head coach of Texas Tech, Joey McGuire, the Texas Tech fans who were there saying, I'm cheering for you guys when you play Texas Thanksgiving weekend. Run it back like you did last year and beat them. I have no issue with either side.
No.
None at all.
No.
They got themselves in this own mess, so let them all just jab at each other.
Yeah.
It's entertaining for me to listen to.
It's part of it.
It is. It raises the stakes. For
Part
sure.
of it. Yeah, I have no issue with Brett Yormark saying what he did.
Right.
And I have no issue with Steve Sarkisian. I think a lot of SEC fans see that and say, oh, you can't be this sensitive when you come to the SEC. And that's fair.
It is.
But at the same time, it is kind of a weird look for a conference commissioner to be actively rooting for one team over another. So I think they're both like a little out of line, and penalties offset, replay the down.
Replay
Yeah.
it down.
Unless you're Ted Lasso, I would love the coaches just to talk about wanting to choke each other.
I know.
Like, they don't need to be friends. They ain't supposed to be best friends. They're supposed to hate each other.
Yeah, there's not enough hatred in sports anymore.
I
We need
agree
more
with that.
hate. Bring
We're
the
on
hate
the
back.
record with that.
I
This
agree with
this
that.
show is pro hate. 853.
In sports,
Put
not
it on
in
a
life.
T-shirt.
Not in life.
in sports.
Not in life.
Not in life.
But like, I have an issue with when Tennessee plays Florida.
yeah.
And all the Tennessee players who are from Florida doing jersey swaps with their former Florida high school teammates or
They
whoever
don't love
else.
you. They
Like,
don't love y'all.
Do that crap over by the locker room. That doesn't need to be posted on the field after a game.
Send them a DM. We don't want to see y'all hugging.
Right.
Man,
Throw
I-
some punches.
I saw two dudes exchanging jerseys this preseason. I was like, "Who are you two guys? Like, why are y'all exchanging jerseys?" But I get it.
Are you cool
I have
with
less
NFL
issue with
guys?
it in the NFL.
I get it doing it,
Okay.
but sometimes I'm just like, man.
What's the difference, Will, then?
Well, for college, for me, it's because you've got the walk-on wide receiver who didn't even get a single grass stain on his jersey is typically the one that's exchanging. And there are more rivalries that run deeper in college football for me than NFL, personally.
Yeah.
Plus, I think for NFL, if you've made it to that level, celebrate that with the people that were with you from day one more so. There's a higher burden of proof to making an NFL roster and then celebrating that with someone who also made an NFL roster versus making a college roster. It's obviously quite an achievement either way. But regardless, I think that's a cooler thing for like your high school to post. Is like, hey, look at these two teammates that made NFL rosters that played against each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
That to me is a different thing.
The handshake line in hoops.
And
Okay?
that's fine.
I've heard people say stuff about that too.
I don't have any issue with the handshake.
So.
Line. That's just more sportsmanship than it is anything else.
You need to bring back the insult line.
Right?
You suck, you suck, you suck, you suck.
Now I feel like more times they're getting in fights in that line than anything.
I love it.
If you're a
The
Big Ten
handshake line.
coach in basketball, you are. That's
Yeah.
for sure, Jawan Howard. Anyway, hour 4 up next. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045. We'll continue our theme of hate. Get to your Not That Guy at 9:20 and reset the NFL headlines. Who's available? Who's getting picked up? We tell you coming up next.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson and Ramon Foster with Window Nations. You know what's poppin'? Window Nations, our friends there. And we're here to tell you it is this time of the year. The temps high. We're feeling okay this week, but you're still cranking up the AC. Let's all be honest. And that means your energy bills continue to go up. So we've got a solution for you. New windows from Window Nation. And right now you can save thousands. No money down, no payments, no interest for 2 full years. Plus, right now, 50% off any style of windows. They've got them all. Bows, bays, double hung, any style. You can protect and increase the value of your home today. Plus, here's a bonus. Call this week and get an extra 10% off that order.
No doubt. And like Kayla said, you're still cranking that AC like I am. But the thing about cranking it is you want the interior of your house to still feel the same. And that's what new windows from Window Nation will do for you. It will temper your house because no good heat, no good AC is getting outside of your windows. If you want the deal that Kayla just told you about, the no payments, no money down, and no interest for 2 years, call them at 866-90-NATION or go online to windownation.com.
What's going on? 901 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans got their kicker yesterday, trading a 7th-round pick to the New England Patriots for kicker Nick Folk. Folk hit 32 of 37 kicks last season for the Patriots, including 4 of 5 from 50. He had been beaten out by 4th-round pick Chad Ryland, and that explains his availability. Some interesting notes from the Titans initial 53-man roster. In addition to the entire rookie class making the roster, includes 7th-round wide receiver Colton Dow. 5 undrafted free agents made the roster. Wide receiver Kyrus Jackson, outside linebacker Caleb Murphy, linebacker Otis Reese, cornerback Anthony Kendall, and special teams ace Matthew Jackson. Some players who were cut and could end up back on the Titans or on their practice squad is linebacker Chance Campbell, cornerback Eric Guerrer, wide receiver Mason Kinsey, Racey McMath at wide receiver, and linebacker Ben Neiman. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour of our Wednesday morning edition. Welcome in to Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. Load up the phone lines at 615-737-1045. Our regular Tuesday segment moves to Wednesday this week. It is You're Not That Guy coming up in 20 minutes. And I've already proclaimed, guys, that I'm going to go up against my own kind.
The Caucasians?
Find out next on 104.5 The Zone. We've got the voice and the troll of Robert Walsh behind the glass. Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. I'm Will Bowley.
Love how transparent we can be these days, man.
Streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where you can find us.
Twitch, please.
Thank you. Yeah. The YouTube channel for 104.5 The Zone, by the way, I'm going to make a goal
Proclamation
for us. By the end of football season, I want 10,000 subscribers. 10,000 subscribers. We're not too far away from that now. When we took over this thing 2 years ago and launched 104.5 The Zone TV, we were at 500.
Yeah.
We are now at close to 6,500. 10,000 goal for the people.
We can do it.
The digital platforms of 104.5 The Zone doing very well. And mentioning that, Sammy Kincaid, the new host of the Ultimate Tennessee podcast here on the Zone Digital Network, has a brand new interview with Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White, which is out for the people. An exclusive one-on-one conversation with Sammy and Danny, which that sounds like a name of a podcast also, Sammy and Danny.
She should ask if they can do their own podcast now, Sammy and Danny.
Hey, she should. That'd be good. People would love to hear from him, though.
That's right. So there you go. You can check that out wherever you download podcasts. The Ultimate Tennessee Podcast. The name of that.
Is Danny the white you're going after?
He did say his own kind.
Are you allowed to say the white?
I think I am. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else can. I'm the whitest person.
Yeah, Ramon, you chill.
I'm probably not going to settle that one. I'm going to pass on that. We won't cross
Before we
those
get
lines.
canceled, let's move on. 615-737-1045. Jalen Reagor released by the Minnesota Vikings.
Wide receiver.
Former Philadelphia Eagle.
So he's not a new man.
He's an old man now?
I wish they would move the team. You have ruined the song. You have
Old
ruined the
man
joke.
Minnesota Vikings.
Take them out of Minnesota.
I just got a DNA test found out. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm done.
None of us talked over that.
He's
Robert,
not
you
a
can
new
use that for later on.
Why would you do that, Will?
You've got like 6 just from the last 2 days.
It
Really
wasn't
Maybe 10.
good.
Maybe 10.
Shut up. Stop it.
Yesterday, Ian Rappaport
Can't get
around
anything done.
this time had said the Vikings have received calls inquiring about the availability of former first-round wide receiver Jalen Reagor.
To do what?
I
Paint?
want to
Or do they need someone to
if
do
he was
some-
free for lunch, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Free to come back to a TCU game where he played collegiately.
Work on my plumbing.
Plumbing. What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Just work
yeah,
on
I
yeah,
got you. Right.
you know.
Yeah. I don't know. That one's Jalen Reagor is not someone I'm rushing to go pick up.
Nah, not on this one. Again, I'm not chasing the first rounders when it comes down to
No.
that type of stuff. And everybody falls victim to that as far as chasing the names. Oh, I'm familiar with him. Oh, he had one Pro Bowl. Oh, man, remember him in 2019?
Yep.
Sometimes it's good to just leave it where it is. And like we said earlier, be like the J. Cole song and love yours.
I think that's the vibe we get from Ran and Vrabel together.
Yeah.
Minus I think obviously the obvious is when you bring in a guy like D-Hop, but that's because that was well thought out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they're not one, I think, just to go chase the names. That
You
is
can't
not
do that.
It's not a thing.
Yeah, this is a well put together group right here. It's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Jalen Reagor in his career has played 45 games. Nick Westbrook-Akine in his career has played 47 games. Jalen Reagor has 124 targets. Nick Westbrook-Akine has 115 targets. Nick Westbrook-Akine has 6 less catches than Jalen Reagor and 107 more yards. So again, I say to you people, Titans people listening to me right now, that the same ones of you who are often the most loudly saying, go get this wide receiver. Get rid of NWI. He's terrible. Go get this guy. He's a former first-round pick. Nick Westbrook-Akine is better than like 99% of those people that are available right now. Probably 100% of them, to be honest with you.
Kind of got to put some respect on his name and what he's done here.
Yes.
You really do. And he's I know good dudes don't matter in this league, but he is a good dude, man. But he works hard, and you watch him on the field. Like, I know we watch for the positional stuff, but the stuff that he does on special teams, like I watched it up close this year,
Sure.
and Kayla, you've seen it, and we've all watched him do those special teams things where he's straining to get a block, to spring a run out. He's always around the ball when it comes to him moving his guy out of the way. Yes, it's okay to speak about these things because his primary position isn't going to be wide receiver for this team.
Right.
You got a pecking order that has to be done. What are we saying? Traylon, D-Hop. From there, we go
right now, Nick Westbrook-Akine is
Nick
wide receiver 3.
Westbrook-Akine, but then from there, you also going Chig. Chig's in that conversation. Let's throw in Tajay Spears. Do you believe in him?
Yeah.
Derek is always asking for the ball. He's capable of getting the ball in his hands, too. Like, there's a pecking order that has to be established when it comes down to who's getting the ball in this offense.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think if there's one thing this show has made a firm stance on, it's Nick Westbrook-Akine appreciation.
And Ryan Tannehill appreciation. Let's make that very clear.
Other than last Friday when people mad that he gave 3 straight handoffs. 3 straight handoffs.
That's though Mike Vrabel's choice.
Yeah, I know
blame
it was.
Ryan.
And Mike Keefe kind of said that. He kind of alluded to it. It's like they got to get in the stadiums. You
Yeah.
remember him saying
The
that?
second he said that with us on Friday, it was kind of like, okay.
We knew
There you
it.
go. And so then he got done with that first drive, and I think all of us who were listening to that conversation Friday on the show expected him to not come back out on the second drive.
Yep.
Plus, Vrabel just loves to troll us on things like that.
Exactly.
I'm not being serious, but
He kind of does.
sometimes he does things that make you think that he's just reading all of your tweets and then doing the opposite. But that's not the case. He does not care about our opinions at all.
Not at all.
Nor does he know what our opinions are.
I don't think he does.
I think
Maybe
he might.
hear
I
it.
think he might once
Time
in a
or
while.
two.
Once in a
Time or
while.
two, he might turn us on. You know, he's cruising
Maybe not
around
us.
last
Maybe
year.
we're not that great,
Yeah.
but
No, we
like,
are.
we like
great.
to
No,
think
we're
we
taking
are.
all the credit.
We like
We're
to
taking
think
all.
we
Don't
are.
act like that, Kayla. We're gonna take all
That's
this
what I said.
credit.
We like to think we
all right,
are.
for sure. I was
Other
just making
moves
sure.
in the AFC South. The Indianapolis Colts do not find a trade partner on their self-imposed deadline for Jonathan Taylor. I, for one, am shocked. And by that, I mean I'm literally not shocked at all.
I'm sorry, but that's going to be a nightmare for them.
How could he set a timeline on that though? What's the over under on wins for Indy this year? What, 6 games?
They're dead last in my AFC South.
That's what I'm saying.
standings. Yep.
I don't
They are.
think much of them as far as them being in a position to say, hey, yes, play for us. Like, they do have the rights to his contract. Some would say he should honor that. Some would also say Jim Irsay should honor the fact that his best offensive player deserves a payday. So with that being said, it's a matter of what the relationship is. Right now, they have no relationship. And Jim Irsay, I feel like, is ruining other relationships moving forward. Why would I come to your organization of the Indianapolis Colts whenever you don't do good business? Like, that's the issue that you're going to run into moving forward. And what sucks is those coaches, the GM, those players are the ones that got to deal with
You're
that
missing
directly.
one. You're
Who's
missing
that?
one. AR. Anthony Richardson.
Ooh, yes, he does.
Not having Jonathan Taylor to start the season, let alone we don't even know if he'll be on the team in his rookie season to have that help.
Yeah. If I'm JT, I show up. I will. I'm going to
Really?
go through practice.
You think he's fine with all this and he's going to be like,
What I'm telling you is this.
Well,
There's ways around this.
yeah.
Show up, sign the contract, go through practice. Saturday hit, coach, I got this.
okay, that's what you're
I got
saying.
a terrible migraine.
Yep.
Can they test you for that?
Yeah.
Not
No.
For headaches.
for headaches. Coach, I got a terrible migraine.
Woo.
Who would not want to collect that? What is that? Over $10 million he's supposed to get this year? Whatever it is.
Still on his rookie deal.
Still on his rookie deal. Never mind, it's not that.
No, yeah, not quite 10.
Coach, man, God, I'm iffy today.
Who runs their franchise better, Jerry Jones or Jim Irsay? At this point of their careers, not all
At this
time.
point,
Because Jerry's won some Super Bowls, and obviously
Yeah.
Jim's got one too.
Jerry makes stupid decisions too, but he's more for the clout. Like he just wants his name out there and be involved. I don't think he's had as major destruction as Jim Irsay has had in the last few seasons.
I'm rolling with Jerry on this one.
Yeah, Jerry's got a bunch of rings, but now
But Jerry's operation goes smoother than what
yeah,
Jim Irsay has allowed his operation to be.
both of them are way too much in the media.
they are.
That's for sure.
I don't want
Yeah.
either of them.
Yeah.
I'll take Miss Amy Adams Strunk, please.
All day long. All day long. The fact that he went and traded for a guy, though, without his coaches or GM knowing, that is a fascinating story when Jerry
I wanna
with
be-
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I want to be in there. I want to know what Dak's thinking too.
It's almost as bad as Arizona State telling Coach Kenny Dillingham
Yep.
they were self-imposing a bowl ban at 6:30 in the morning the
Yep.
week of the first game.
Because of Herm Edwards.
You hear his conversation
Yeah, I did.
out at practice, man?
I
That's
heard
sad
3HL
for the
talk about
boys.
that yesterday. We
Yeah.
can play that after we get to You're Not That Guy if we want to.
Yeah.
He's probably there. Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards, a strong candidate for You're Not That
Yeah.
Guy, which is coming up next. You can complain about any guy, girl, or thing in your life
Yes.
that made you stop, sigh, and say, you know what? You're not that guy. Do less. We do more of that coming up next. Wednesday morning continues on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is our number. If you want to call in and complain about someone who is not that guy
Or
in
girl.
your week. Robert Walsh, hit the music.
Ooh.
It is You're Not That Guy right here on RKW, typically on Tuesdays, and today it is on Wednesday right now. 615-737-1045. As Robert Walsh efforts the audio for mine, I give the ball to Kayla Anderson to lead off this morning.
And I kept saying you're not that whoever.
Yeah.
Mind, you're not that girl. That's right. So, overseas, and Will might appreciate this because I'm going in the sport of his liking.
Yay.
There was a star-studded charity football match, and Brazilian great Kaká, is that pronounced right?
Who?
Kaká?
Yeah, Kaká.
Yeah, Kaká was the victim in a match between a Brazil side featuring World Cup winners for the 94 and 2002 squads and the Israel veterans. Now, in the second half, Kaká was dribbling down the field when the referee,
Yeah.
I just added that because it's a female.
You can just say, oh, okay.
Lalachi Al-Zalouin. I probably just really butchered her name. She blew her whistle and stopped the game for a moment, giving him a yellow card. Okay? He was confused by why he'd been booked the yellow card. And then she pulled out her phone and said, "Can I get a selfie?"
Oh.
Girl! I don't care if it's a charity match or if it's a real match.
I've seen this video, yeah.
You ain't that girl.
She asked for a video after the
A
fact?
selfie.
In the middle of the game. Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. No, you don't do that. You're not that girl for that one, man. Bert, hit that one for her, man. 'Cause that's out of line. Way out of line. Oh, my gosh. Bert must be picking up phone. Oh, okay.
I don't have an issue with that. I've seen that video's old. I've seen it before.
Oh, wow.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of crossing the line right there. Either way.
Robert Walsh, batting second.
My You're Not That Guy has to go to fans of a particular NFL team. And to set the stage a little bit, earlier in the week, WWE announced that they were partnering with the NFL to have new legacy titles for every NFL team. So you can be a champion even if your team isn't. And within hours, one team sold out. And it makes sense because they've never won a championship. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Their fans must feel like they have to go out and get championships and fake titles because they are not champions themselves. And I have one caveat to this. If you buy these belts when you're a man-child, stop it. Stop it. Those are for children, not for grown men to carry to a game. They're also heavy. You're dumb. If you bring those to a game, you should have to defend that title. You should have to defend it. I will wrestle you for that belt. And if you beat me, I'll go about my merry way. But if you don't, that title goes home with me. So if I see you out in the wild with a WWE belt, you're defending it.
At a football game.
Anywhere. If you bring a belt out and you're not the champion of whatever belt you're assuming, you're defending it. Right now, I'm number one contender. Come on. Yeah. Ring the bell. Where's the referee?
And in the blue corner, Robert Walsh. Thank you, Robert.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd jump him.
I know you would.
At the bell. I wouldn't even let the bell ring. They'd have to ring that bell. Ring that bell.
I didn't hear no bell.
And they sold out. Them things $500 a pop, too.
Yeah, they are.
They were $500 a pop, Bert.
Crazy.
You should have added that to it, man. Especially not that guy that you needed a belt to signify you winning something.
You could get one at Old Navy to hold your pants up for like $9.99.
I'm telling you. What are we doing? Come on.
Ramon has some that he's grew out.
I got
of.
some. I do.
Or
Yeah,
grew into. I don't know how to
grew
say
out
that.
of. Yeah, I grew out of some belts. I definitely handed
I'm going to
over.
have to get fat to get a hold of them, man.
I got
I'm going to have to
you.
get bigger. Wait, hold on a second.
You can poke some holes in them.
Oh,
You
boy.
can poke some holes in them belts. I got you. Yeah, interlocking G's.
All
Man,
right.
I got you.
You batting cleanup or am I?
You go. No. I'll back clean up. Go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah.
So, Robert, you have this audio ready? Yes?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll find out.
I told you I'm going to go after my own kind, and I'm going to go after a runner. His name is Noah Lyles, who just became a 3-time world champion. He's already the American record holder at 200 meters. In fact, he became the first man since Usain Bolt at the World Championships, the World Athletics Championships in Belgrade this past week to win both the 100 and 200 meter World Championships in the same track meet. And then at that track meet, post-race, he had this to say.
World champion of what?
Whoa.
The United States? You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times, but that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
So let me remind you that the man who won NBA Finals MVP is from Serbia, Vlatko Čanker. I just was today years old when I learned this guy existed. Denver Nuggets forward from Slovenia. You've got Reggie Jackson, Italy, Jamal Murray, Canada, Jack White, Australia. That's just the guys on the team that won the NBA Finals this past season. You're called a world champion by winning an American league, by winning in the NBA, because all the best players in the world play in the NBA. No disrespect to our brothers in Europe, the Italian league, the Turkish league, that have outstanding basketball. But the best players in the world and the best teams in the world, undoubtedly, without a shadow of a doubt, play in the National Basketball Association. This sparked a conversation that made me lose so many brain cells, and I already don't have that many to begin with. Then you've got Aaron Gordon, a no-name in the NBA, saying, I could probably smoke you at 200 meters to Noah Lyles, which is equally stupid. We can love our own sports without putting another sport down. We can love our own teams without having to drag someone else down. Noah Lyles, you are a generational talent in my and your sport of track and field. You don't have to drag down basketball players who are also world champions in order to prop yourself up. You just did something that hasn't been done since Usain Bolt. You don't need anything else to prop you up. You're already on the top of the podium. Noah Lyles, I say to you.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Thank you so much.
That's solid right there, Will. He was so out of line for that one.
Aaron Gordon was too. But
yeah,
yes.
Both of them. But Noah started it. He's so out of line
I
for
agree.
that one, man. My you're not that guy goes to, let's go to Atlanta, man. Mays High School versus Douglas County.
No, I saw this.
Oh, my gosh. Coaches, keep your hands off of players when it comes to assault. I get a helmet tap, a little shove here and there.
Sure.
One of the football coaches in this game, I think it was Mays High School, punched a football player in the middle of the stomach. And I think it was like my TV 30's broadcast in Atlanta. It was a live shot of a coach ripping the kid, which is fine, but he proceeds to quickly jab him in his stomach, and the kid bends over in pain. Coaches, keep your hands to yourself. The coach of this Mays High School football coach needs to be put in jail, and he was. He was arrested on the spot. Who punches a kid in the stomach because he made a mistake as a football player, which we always make mistakes as football players. So, for the coach of that team, I got a few words for you, Bert, if you want to hit that for him real quick, man. You're not that guy, pal.
There you go.
You do not put your hands on players like that.
By the way, my original, I thought Will was going to have this, was Ronald Acuna being tackled by Colorado fans at Coors Field. Like, that to me was the most unreal thing this past week.
I'd already picked the Noah Lyles thing because I feel like as a person in track and field,
that's a good one.
I need to call out my own when they deserve to be
called out. And it was
out.
trending hard.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant responded to the Noah Lyles thing on Instagram.
Said when that was Draymond that said that one.
Well, that's when there is no athlete in any sport in the world that could come close to world-class sprinters. Literally none of them. I promise you. Tyreek Hill may be the closest. But world-class sprinters are running 4.0 40-yard dashes.
Yeah.
Like Christian Coleman, my old teammate and world champion at Tennessee, was, I think, 4.12 in the 40.
It's fast.
And that was cold. Yeah, anyway. We got loaded phone lines to get to complaints on You're Not That Guy. 615-737-1045. Ryan in Lebanon was first in line and gets the first crack at it this morning. What's up, Ryan?
What up, Rye?
You guys, good morning.
Morning.
So mine goes to Virginia head coach Tony Elliott for thinking he had a job at the University of Tennessee. In an interview last week, he said that, and Denny White said, no, we didn't offer you. He's not my guy.
Yeah. So go Vols,
Thank you,
man.
Ryan.
It's officially football season, man. It's officially football season.
It
Trash
is.
talking is up. When is it Trash Talk Friday for 3HL?
Every
Yeah.
week.
I might call in on that one this week.
Yeah,
that's
you
how
should.
I'm feeling.
There you go.
Should.
Joey in Cross Plains up next. 615-737-1045. Hey, Joey.
Morning, Taylor Ramon Will.
Morning.
What's up, Joey?
So I live in a rural community, a small farming community, and all these transplants.
Oh, we got robot Joey.
Did the transplants take over his
We're gonna
phone?
have to
They took over his signal.
somebody cut
Oh,
Joey's
no.
phone line.
They're crowding his tower.
We'll get back.
Shoot.
We'll try Joey again here in a minute.
Oh, no.
615-737-1045. Let's go to Jason in Murfreesboro, who will take up the next spot. What's up, Jason?
What up, Jason?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys.
What's up?
Two things. These Tennessee Vols men are about to wallop these Virginia boys. And then my not your guy is I want to say thank you to not my guy, Mr. Jonathan Taylor. Got to do my fantasy football. I made a bold trade last year. I was the first pick of the draft. I drafted Jonathan Taylor, and I traded him for Jamal Williams. I got 17 touchdowns, the leading for the Lions last year. Of course, he went to the Saints, but now he's not even playing for the first 4 games for Jonathan Taylor, so that kind of worked out in my favor. So I just want to say thank you for not being that guy, JT.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
It's Jason in Murfreesboro.
That's funny. That's a twist there.
That was kind of slanderous, too.
Jason, front office executive of the year in his fantasy football.
Right?
Yes, he is.
I almost made my You're Not That Guy, by the way. Guy that always comes to you bragging about who they drafted on their fantasy lineup.
Yeah.
Which do you get more tired of, hearing about people's brackets or their fantasy football teams?
Probably fantasy football. Because it's for me, it's the same group every year that
Yeah,
I
it's the same
do my
people.
stuff with.
My answer is yes to both of them. I'm being honest with you. I couldn't decide.
We don't care about your fireworks on your Snapchat stories.
Oof.
We don't care about your fantasy football team.
Concerts where you're singing along.
Concerts, that's a great one.
The payoff though of those fantasy losers are good. Though. I will say that. Like wearing tutus on the airport, to a flight to nowhere.
One of my buddies had to wear a romper on Broadway, a romp him on Broadway.
Ay.
To add to those Instagram videos, I don't care about your friend's wedding either.
Oh, yeah, good one.
I don't need.
thank you.
I
Good
don't
one.
need wedding videos.
Yep.
I don't
No.
need dance floor videos.
So over
We
that.
do not care about your wedding. I was not invited. I do not get
Yeah.
access to the free bar, so
Preach.
therefore you're getting blocked.
I have to update this, by the way. This is my number one pet peeve in life, and I've told you all this before. But I have to re-up it as wedding season continues. If you're pluralizing a last name, please, for the love of God, do not put an apostrophe on a name that is pluralized. Please, please, please don't.
Yeah.
If you're saying cheers to the Fosters, Fosters is perfectly fine. You don't have to say cheers to the Fosters and put an apostrophe S on it. No. If it has an S at the end of it, you add an ES. If someone's last name is Morris, you say cheers to the Morrises. Morrises. Anyway.
You know who else
Thank
I
you so
can't
much.
stand? Who? Babies. I don't care about y'all's
Okay.
babies. I
All
don't care
right,
about
that's a
y'all's
bit harsh.
pictures of babies. No, I mean, I don't know nothing about this baby. I
Okay,
don't
we-
want the baby pictures.
615-737-1045.
Picture right now.
I won't send you pictures of my nephews who are adorable. and
I'm
perfect.
sorry. I'm sorry. They're
No,
all.
I won't send them to you.
They're
It's fine.
all little ugly naked mole rats, man. None of them are cute. None of them are cool. None
Wait
of them
till
are
they
funny.
can talk and,
They
like,
can't do
be cool.
nothing. Like can't even put their socks on. Wipe their butt. They're just lame. Babies are lame.
Let's try Joey in Cross Plains again. See if the transplants have given him his cell service back. What's up, Joey?
Good morning, guys. Sorry about that.
There we
I'm
go.
actually
All
on
good.
my way to campus.
You're good.
But no. So there's a way to transport tobacco from the field to the barn. You hang it on a trailer. It's okay to go past it if they're going down the road 10, 15 miles. You don't have to sit 8 to 10 car lengths back and watch it go down the road and screw traffic up. Go around it. You're not that guy and gals be that special. Y'all have a blessed one.
You too, Joe.
You're right.
I feel you, Joe.
Just pass it. It's okay. It's the country.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
I
You're
feel
not
him
that
on
guy.
If you got the dotted lines, just mosey on around.
Mosey on around, man.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Eric in Nashville is next at 615-737-1045. What's up, Eric?
Hey, guys, before I get to my You're Not That Guy, guys, I thought it was kind of interesting. You talked about the WWE. Tony Khan's dad owns the Jacksonville Jaguars of AEW, so I kind of thought that was interesting, guys. Well, anyway, my You're Not That Guy, guys, I'm kind of to take my cues from Caleb. This is actually You're Not That Girl. So y'all probably heard about what happened last Friday at the Oakland A Chicago White Sox game.
Yeah.
That a gun was smuggled in and 2 women were shot. I don't know. It was a woman that smuggled the gun in, and I don't know if she shot herself. But do you know how she got it in?
Yep.
She got it through security by smuggling it in the rolls of her fat.
Yep.
She was able to avoid metal detectors, guys. You cannot make stuff like this up. So that girl is definitely You're Not That Guy. Guys, y'all take care and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Dude, that is nuts. How does it not go off in a metal detector? It's just that thick?
I saw somebody on Twitter said, did she have a congealed carry permit? Congealed carry.
Hey, Joe.
It's crazy.
You just folded it under, huh?
Oh, no.
You just folded it under is what you did to smuggle that gun.
That's
man.
insane. Yeah,
Oh, my
Bunky Perkins, who's a great follow on Twitter, by the way, said congealed carry, which is crazy.
I'm not touching that.
I'm
It's
sorry,
in
that is
Fagunda.
Oh,
ridiculous
my gosh. bro.
story.
Says come and cake it. He says also. Let's go to
Oh,
Tim
my
in
God.
Nashville, 615-737-1045. What's up, Tim?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are y'all doing?
Good morning.
Well, last week my girl went to the football game, right?
Yep.
So she ended up having a boyfriend. So to her boyfriend, who texts her saying, "I like you, you like me, let's date." You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Sorry, I shouldn't have texted.
God. Oh, my goodness.
Dang it.
Hey, man. That's
Thank you,
solid
Tim.
right there.
Appreciate
Thanks,
the
Tim.
call.
Tim does not take it easy on his baby girl
No,
at
he
all.
doesn't.
Keep that young man in your sights at all times.
I'm
And
so-
that is someone we will call a young man.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, man, Tim! I give props to you, man, because I know a bunch of softies when they come to their daughters, man. And
Can't
Tim,
be- no.
he keeps the same tempo, man.
Robert is crazy.
Now she'll still press you.
Oh, that was his daughter? I thought it
Yes.
was his wife.
You thought it was his wife.
Crazy. Here's Pocket. Here's Robert way over here. He is way out of
I was
pocket.
halfway listening. I
Robert's
thought it
pocket is in a different time
gosh.
zone, and you are way out here.
Oh, what is
I thought
wrong
You
with
used to be
you?
better than this.
You did used to be better than this,
All right,
Bert.
okay.
Tim
I'm
needs
sorry.
to call back.
Oh my God.
It wasn't me texting.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Robert
right?
Walsh is
Hide your keys.
Standing
hide
by.
your wife.
That man got plenty of ammo at home, Bert.
coming up. A real life story written on AL.com. Nick Saban smiled more during camp.
Oh, God.
And one guy went back the last 5 training camps and gives an exact smiles per press conference number. Is there a direct correlation to smiles and Alabama football success? Hard-hitting journalism coming up next. Back for one final segment on your Wednesday morning edition of RKW. Coming up tomorrow morning, we've got our weekly conversation with Coach Dave McGinnis. A Thursday 3 after a pretty solid first week of picks.
Yeah.
For us on the show. And we also go game by game and week by week tomorrow morning on what the Tennessee Football Volunteers will do in 2023.
Let's do it. That's going to be interesting.
So all days we recap what happened and did not happen for the 53-man roster yesterday for the Titans. What is happening is there is a guy on AL.com named Matt Stahl who has a lot of time on his hands. He says that Nick Saban has spent 3.42% of his total preseason press conference time smiling in 2023. That is more than double the percentage of any year from 2017 onward. So, this is a thesis of how much Nick Saban's press conference smiles correlate to championships and wins. So, in 2017, Nick Saban smiled 6 times for 1 minute and 18 seconds out of a total press conference time of 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 55 seconds. He was smiling 1.18% of the time. He averaged 0.75 smiles per press conference as Alabama beat Georgia in the national championship game. Before 2018, Nick Saban smiled 5 times for an average of 0.63 smiles per press conference. That's a smile rate of 1.44%. Alabama lost in the national championship game to Trevor Lawrence's Clemson Tigers that season. In 2019, Alabama missed the playoff and finished the season with a Citrus Bowl victory. As Steve Spurrier would say, you can't spell citrus without UT. Nick Saban smiled 4 times that year. That's a low percentage, 0.57 per press conference. Alabama wasn't as good that year. So, less smiles, less wins. 2020, Alabama was very good. They rolled to the national championship. And he smiled just 2 times the entire season. Nick Saban did. Just 2 times, 0.43% of the total press conferences. In 2021, when Alabama lost to the national title game to the Georgia Bulldogs, didn't smile much either. Only had 2 smiles the whole year going forward into his season, 0.43%. Then the numbers rose thanks to Miss Terry in 2022. Nick Saban smiled 7 times last year. Alabama lost to Tennessee and to LSU, missing out on the college football playoff, even though Nick would still like to tell you they should have made it. So, the final conclusion, based on the data set, we say all of this to say there is very little discernible correlation between Nick Saban's smiles and the eventual success of his Alabama teams. There is literally 0 correlation. So for any of you who want to say, oh, hey, see how much Nick Saban's smiling, he's happier. He's happy about his team. They're going to be back. The big, bad, evil empire's back. There's 0 evidence to back that up. I award you 0 points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
If we had a sponsor who was willing to pay for me to do this research, I would do this for Mike Vrabel throughout the entire NFL season.
Great point.
Let's go.
Yeah, get it sold, man.
Can we get a dentist up in here?
I got braces on too, so I could be a great spokesman for your business and the community. It's not like I just last segment talked about texting another man's daughter. No big deal.
That did not happen.
That was a mistake.
Did not happen.
Oh, wow.
That is wild that you would spend that much time on something like that.
That's what I was just going to say. We're all time wasters in some sense, right?
Sure.
Like we all just mindlessly scroll. I couldn't imagine keeping up with somebody's smile. Like, I'll miss a smile.
No.
You feel what I'm saying? If he's on the stop, like on the clock, I'd miss that.
And who's to say this guy has gotten every smile? Who's to say?
Well, it's the research department of one.
AL.com,
Right?
There's no pro sports to talk about down there other than the Birmingham Barons and the, the Mobile Bay Bears don't exist anymore.
The Biscuits.
Now they're the, Montgomery Biscuits and the Rocket City Trash Pandas. That is the extent of professional sports. No, there's a minor league hockey team down there too, I guess.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alabama?
Huntsville, I think.
Our
right?
friend Brett Batchelor has broadcasted for them.
BB.
Yeah.
That's
My
right.
God, man.
Eli Gold has done games for them too.
Oh, yeah.
Voice of Alabama football.
BB need to get back here so he can teach me golf. I don't trust you teaching me, Will. You're a lefty.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't trust me teaching me either. If you're aiming for the highest score possible, then I'm your man.
That's fair.
There you go.
Anyway, I turned left for a living in my sport, so don't come at me.
Yeah, that's why you like F1.
Turn left and occasionally right.
Oh.
Fun show today.
It was solid.
Yeah.
Quick one. Thank you to Rhett Bryan for joining us.
Good stuff.
Tomorrow morning, Coach Mack, Balls game by game.
And I need to talk to Coach Mack before we do this record thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
About Tennessee?
Yeah, because I need him to tell me to keep my powder dry.
Okay.
I need to hear those words before we do it, because I'll go 12-0 like it's nothing.
Interesting to see if I will break my rule that I've kept since the last time I went to Gainesville about Tennessee.
That's right.
No drinking on the air.
Yeah, that is a good rule to have.
Oh, my God.
That is a good rule to have. We go to the phones where we finish off the show with Inky Johnson and a little bit of midweek motivation this morning. What's up, Inky? How are you, man?
What's going on, guys? How are you all?
Great. I'm coming here saying what's up after you done visited every school in the SEC.
Well traveled, Inky Johnson.
Man. Don't be acting like that, ain't.
Duty calls, man. Duty calls, man.
Okay.
Duty calls, man.
I'm hands off, man. And more my kids' friends say, hey, Mr. Ramon know Inky Johnson? Hey, beat it, kid. Yes, I know
Mr. Ramon.
Yeah,
Goodness
Mr.
sakes.
Ramon. Yeah,
They
man.
say the same thing to me, man. So it evens the score, man.
It evens the score.
Man, I'm so excited, man. College football is back. I'm looking forward to it. I got some great work in this summer, man. Went around to a lot of programs, watch how they operated, their culture, how they're doing things in terms of preparation. And I want to start us off with a quote, man, and it states, when a winner and a loser first start something, they have the same goal, right? When a winner and a loser first start something, they got the exact same goal. Both institutions, both guys, like both things, organizations, they both want the victory. Like when they first start something, they say, you know what, man, I think I'm prepared. I think I put in the work. I'm ready for the job. I think we can secure the victory, right? But in the process of opposition, in the process of adversity, one person looks at the outcome. The other person focuses on the systems and the processes that drives the outcome. And so one of the things that I focused on this summer that's very underrated, and I feel as if people often take it for granted, the ability to stay positive in the midst of opposition, in the midst of challenges, in the midst of things not going their way. Because the first thing we do when opposition, adversity, a challenge happens, or things don't go our way, oftentimes the first thing we do is we become negative about the situation. When we become negative about a situation, now it affects our language, now it affects our perspective, now it affects our interactions. And so the challenge for us all, pressing forward, just try to stay positive, man. Whether something goes great or something doesn't go great, just try to stay positive and watch how it affects your perspective, watch how it affects your interactions, and watch how it affects your language and how you speak about situations and people. Never forget, man, perspective always drives performance. How we view what we do will always affect and impact how we do what we do. When a winner and a loser first start something, they got the exact same goal. But somewhere along the process, somebody looks at the outcome and somebody else focuses on the systems and the processes that drives the outcome. Have a great day.